From the YBA Phenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rocklin, California, it's Bout That Life Podcast with your host, Coach C. Collins and Coach MJ.
Start 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, welcome to Bout That Life Podcast. I'm Coach C. Collins, your usual host and the guy that talks a lot of shit. I'm here to do another episode of Bout That Life Podcast for you. We are doing something really cool, really different. I'll get all into that after I do a quick shout out to my sponsors. First shout out, of course, goes to Dr. Dish, best shooting machine on the market. Why? It's because they sponsor me, so they're the best shooting machine on the market. No, real talk. They have the All-Star model, the Home model, the Rebel. Whatever you need. If your kid needs to get shots up, I would definitely suggest the Home model. It's pretty inexpensive, and they're really good with their customer service. Check them out. Tell them About That Life Podcast sent you, and they will hook you up. Also, if you are looking for basketball tournaments, if you're looking for AAU, Rec League, whatever level your child in particular is starting at, they even have adult leagues over here. Check out Hardwood Palace. It's in Rocklin, California, right next door to YBA. Hit up Grant or Steve, tell them About That Life sent you, and they will hook you up with a discount for your first tournament. And yeah, they're a great supporter and sponsor of the show, so definitely go check them out. But with all that being said, I want to get you guys to my guests. Also, consider, especially if you're listening on the audio, do the HBO special, help a brother out, hit the follow, hit the like button. It always supports, it always helps. So, and obviously I've been checking out the audio algorithm on Podbean, and seeing consistent people check the show out. So once again, I will always say it every episode, thank you. It's always important to me to get the message out and help, hopefully, again, if this is helping one person, one parent, one family, one kid, one coach, I'm feeling like I'm doing something right. So please, thank you guys again who've been supporting from day one. But we got a really cool premise to this show. So for this episode, I have two podcast creators themselves and two podcast hosts themselves. And one of them I'm just now meeting in person, but I've seen his content for a while, and one I've known for a long time, back when I was a junior college kid. And he was a junior college semi-coach kid / grown man. So, no, this is actually pretty cool. Actually, no, I shouldn't say pretty cool. This is very cool to me because it is kind of nice to have people to sit down and talk to who are in the same space as myself, because we'll definitely talk about the nuances of the pros and cons, the things that work, the things that don't, and I love sitting around with people that are like-minded. So without further ado, let me introduce JT Roberts and Josh Sakamoto. Takamoto, sorry. It says Sakamoto, Takamoto. See, I always try not to fuck that up.
Hey, man, I've been called worse. It's all good.
No, thank you guys for making it out tonight. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah. It's a long time coming, though, for real.
No.
Shout out to you, though. I mean, like I said, we're digging the visuals. We're digging the setup, the grind. But you've been working, man. So you've been putting your information out there and consistently. But also, I would say with just a honest vibe, bro. Like no cover up, no BSing, but just real honest and straightforward. And I think that's what should be accepted by the people. And that's how you can move, man. That's why you can move. You can stand on it, as they say. They stand on business, but you go about it. Right, wrong, or ugly, you're going to tell the truth. For sure.
Right.
I mean, people need to hear, man. So keep it going, and shout out to you, bro.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that a lot.
Man, it's a dope platform. Like we said, the studio's dope. Makes me feel bad about my setup. little office behind the Zoom camera.
Hey, I just happened to find a little corner in this place, and I said I could do something with
this.
Make
it home, bro. That's all you did.
For real. And well, obviously we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the show, but I do want the people, obviously, on my platform to know about you guys, because this is just so you guys understand from who's ever listening or checking this out on YouTube, like this is a collaboration of different people with their own platforms working together. So if you happen to listen to mine, I definitely encourage you guys listen to theirs, because I personally listen to theirs and follow it myself. And I will leave links in the description for their social media and their podcast, so you guys can go check it out as well. But I guess the first question I'm going to ask both you guys, and obviously, jump in, put your thoughts in. The biggest thing we talk about, and on all our platforms, is really the state of athletics in America, and in particular youth sports, right? That's obviously, as you guys see, that's my field, right? And in particular basketball. What is your guys' opinion of the state of youth athletics in America today? Pros and cons, either one.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird thing, man. I talk to a lot of coaches from all different levels, anywhere from collegiate coaches to little league coaches, and it's a weird place.
Yeah.
Because we all agree that athletics, no matter what the sport is, no matter what level, it's one of the most important places for kids to learn life lessons.
100%.
And not just life lessons for where they're at in life right then, but these are life lessons that you'll learn you'll use down the road when you're at your family, career, all the. I mean, how many times you hear something your coach says when you're a kid, and you're like, whatever you say, coach.
Yeah.
And then years down the road, you're either coaching or you're talking to your family, and you're using those same phrases that they use too.
Yeah.
And because it sticks with you, and you're using these games that we play, the games that we were passionate about and we love, to teach life lessons. There's no better way to do it. And so that's the pro of it. The con is you can also implement a ton of bad lessons in kids, like we've talked about before we started recording. Entitlement easily happens in sports, and at the higher levels there's this entitlement amongst parents, entitlement amongst the kids, sometimes amongst the coaches. And so you can do just as much bad as you can good, and it all depends on who's delivering the message, how passionate they are, where their mind's at. Are they doing it for selfish gain, or are they doing it for the kids only? I know both of you guys are doing it for the kids. It's obvious from what's going on here.
That's right.
It's all about the family. It's all about the kids. Coach JT, same thing, man. We've talked on my podcast before, and you're all about the kids. So when you have coaches that are in the right space, I think the youth sports world is amazing. But I think when you start getting coaches and parents and athletes that become selfish and have the wrong motives, then I think it becomes a pretty toxic place that's going to do a lot of bad. So it's just like social media. It can be an amazing thing, but if in the wrong hands and the wrong voice, it can be pretty detrimental, I think. But I'm an optimist. I think it's a good thing overall. But obviously, we social media lets us see the ugly too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but overall, man, I think it's a good place, and it's meant for life lessons and teaching people how to compete. Right? No matter what you do, no matter where you're at, you want to compete. You know what I mean? And so, you learn that at a young level, and if you can learn that the right way, it's going to benefit you through the rest of life.
Yeah, definitely. I would even say just what are your intentions to get out of it, right? Or if you're coaching, or if you're playing, right? Because I mean, through life experiences though, but also eventually that ball in whatever sport activity is going to stop. But can you carry that same mentality over to your career, to your profession, to leading a family, to stuff like that, to where people can being a mentor to somebody else's child? A couple of things that coaches I played for, they like my goal is to really not about the wins and losses. Honestly, yes, we want to win. Hell yeah, I want to win.
Competitor,
of
no
course.
doubt.
But realistically, as we look at some numbers, it's only a few percenters that win a certain amount or go certain places. However, can you get your degree, or now say with these youth, they can create their own business plans. So can you be a successful business person and be a successful citizen in life and just live? I tell people all the time, I worked for DMV for 2 years as an HR, and I was in a corner in a box in a cubicle. But I love people. Yeah. I love to talk. They were like, why are you always out of your cubicle? Well, I like talking to people. And the dude, one Christmas break, he said, all right, your goal should be you should work so you can live your life, not live to work. I said, I'm out. Yeah. I went back, got my master's degree, so I could, potentially if I want a chance to be a junior college coach, I had to have a master's. But I was like, to find your passion in something is a blessing in itself. But then why you're doing it, because in coaching or volunteering around anybody else's kids or something like that, it's not always a physical dollar reward. No. But to this day, I still got parents I've coached their kids. I come back. Last winter, I went to I coached 30th birthday party. I coached him at Kennedy years ago. He said, "Coach, you better be there." He's 30 now. I'm like, damn, but we can legit have a beverage together. You turn 30. But he's like, I appreciate you. I need you to show up. You better show up. I had to go. Yeah. Other guys come back around that have coached and come help and see, what. So to me, I've always been big on relationships and value relationships with people. Yeah. So even with Chris, never thought I would run into him in this atmosphere again like this. But we met on the basketball court. Yeah. I'm coaching. He's playing. I'm getting on his ass about shit. He's trying to do shit, but we're working, but we're grinding. But the work ethic was there. But then I leave, go off after we come back from whatever he does, what he has to do. We come back. It's respect though, because at the end goal, I just want to make sure he's a successful man, which he is now. But also he's still giving back to what the game does. I just want people to make sure they value it. The state that it's in now, I feel like it's just so much of like I have to have mine. It's not enough selflessness. Yeah. yes, we know some people can be the top dog or scorer, but everybody can't score the 25 points a game.
Yeah.
Somebody got to get a couple assists. Somebody got to play defense. And it's so much focused on the what can you do individually, but all your small things can help this team win as well. And that doesn't, to me personally, because I wasn't the guy that had to score. I play with scorers. I didn't have to score. But I got to guard the best guy, and they relied on me the same way I relied on them. And I think that part has kind of gone away a little bit. And then, it just comes with coaching too. As we get older, we learn lessons. Yes, we've had to take our shifts. I'm the first to say I've messed up plenty of times in my coaching career. This is going on year 18. As an assistant, as a head, but I've tried to do better even more so the last 4 or 5 years is look at things differently with the changes. Yeah. Even though times are different, social media, try to adapt, but still keep my values strong, but also be a little more open about, okay, look, you give me this, okay, I'll give y'all that a little bit. Because kids are different. They want to have some things, but also how you win for me is always going to be important. Yeah, if we're not do extra show button. Yeah, you guys can have fun. Yeah, I know, but we don't take it across the line to me personally. Sure. And I'm a big fan on that. So I think right now it's just teetering on what's fun and what's sportsmanship though. Right? Or making fun of, right? That's why you go these videos about sportsmanship and coaching, but who actually holds their team accountable for that? I try to. Yeah. Like my guys know, okay, it's a certain line. Yeah, we have fun, but we're not going to try to embarrass somebody else like that or embarrass a player or a coach, a team. No doubt. So I just think right now it's a point where people should communicate on what should hold it together and not what's going to get the most views. Because right now we're in what gets the most views. These highlight videos or the AAU teams going out playing these bum teams with the top guys, but then they're winning by a lot. They just want to make content. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if that's your business, I get it. But to me, I think sometimes you devalue the value of the game. I tell people, you get in what you put out, though. So a college coach might see you effing around on this game film and say, "Oh, I can't have that." But if they see you going at it, competing and dogging, like, "Oh yeah, I might want to look at this kid." So I said, "What you put on tape is out there." Yeah. So I just try to make. I want people to realize that part and just realize again, I can go off experience alone. I feel like I put a lot in. Do I want to? I wish I could put more in. Yes. But the resources these kids have now, if you put in the work, the sky is limitless for these youth, man. And that's one thing. I just want to make sure y'all don't miss opportunity because everybody don't get a second chance.
100%.
That's good.
No, it's great. Like, I mean, and the reality is, like, I'm a big analytics person. I'm always looking up numbers and new statistics. There's just so much information out there, so you always kind of got to shift through it. And it's funny because I work at UPS. That's like my job. And when I'm there, that's when I do a lot of my content work, which is weird because I'm doing my job, but that's just brainless work at this point. I just do that. I've been there like 15 years. That's whatever. I just do that shit. I'm like, boom, boom, boom. But like, but I'm like on my phone researching things, listening to other podcasts, looking up different analytics statistics, just all that stuff. And like, youth sports right now in America is a $40 billion industry. It's a $40 billion. That's like all across the board. Like we're talking all youth sports, and $40 billion industry. So it's like, I understand with anything with that much capital, there's going to be some level of corruption. There's going to be some obvious negative sides to it, just like with anything, right? Mm-hmm. But I think I think if there's enough people trying to do the right things, that ultimately it'll be in the right direction, right? Because I talk about it on the show all the time. Obviously my main field with basketball, but I talk about youth sports all across the board because I have so many kids in my club that play multiple sports, so I hear so many stories from everything, and it just it's
universal, right?
Yeah, it really is. It's universal. Like everybody, every coach, every level, every program's trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with all the nuances, with the technology, the social media, the way these kids can get
access,
exposure.
right?
Yeah. There's a kid plays for Arsenal, KP's son, Cam Potts. Yeah, kid's got like 70,000 followers, but he's only 11 years old. 11 years old. Yeah, and I know his dad manages a lot. His dad's good dude,
solid
runs
dude.
Arsenal. He's LeVar balling his son a little bit. He knows what he's doing. He's playing the system, and I told him, KP, that's smart, man.
Real strategic.
Like if that's my son, I'm gonna try to do things right, but it's dangerous at the same time. So I know he's always kind of got to manage his son's ego. At the same time, manage the social media aspect because eventually Cam's going to be 16, 17. You know what I mean? So he has to think of that version of himself.
I'll say this real quick though. Maybe in June when I was in LA, had the honor to go do some Big 3 stuff with the homies. We're in the same hotel.
Yeah.
And I've seen son Cam a couple of times. I don't even know if you remember me, but even if you didn't, I saw Pops too. Say what's up to Pops, another formal introduction. But I will say this, shout out to Pops, the two boys. Hey, what's up, coach?
Yeah.
Shook my hand off top.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's up?
Very
Dap me up.
respectful.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I will give a shout out to him as far as putting those values early.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're respecting a guy you may remember, not remember, or seen him enough around, who knows? They may have seen something just to say what's up to me. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Pops
No,
is doing
no
Pops
doubt.
is putting that in
Yeah.
there. So I think that, again, the foundation of that part could take them a long way. Because like you said, when they get older, it's going to be tested, right?
Yeah.
Or they're going to see where they move or how they move. Does it change them?
No, dude, that foundational piece is huge. I remember I was at an event, character combine event, who I eventually went on to intern and work for, and they had Jerry Manuel, the former Major League Baseball manager, and he was speaking. He was talking about like the foundation of a house. And he said if your foundation isn't strong enough to build upon that, it's all going to crumble down.
It's
So if
gonna
like, you're trying to make it
collapse
to
every
the D1 level, the pro level, but your foundation isn't strong enough to hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels of that house, it's not going to work. It's going to come crumbling down at some point. So that you talk about that family piece, man, having someone there, especially you have 70,000 followers. You know, it's crazy too. I feel like with social media, and I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like it almost minimizes 70,000. How many does Golden
Do you
One
know?
hold?
Oh, people, right?
Go. How many people is going one?
Something
hold?
about followers, right?
I
have no idea.
I'd say maybe 20K.
20K.
Maybe.
Now you imagine standing in the middle of that stage.
Yeah.
With that many people
All
watching.
the lights on, right?
Yeah.
And then you triple it, 70,000.
Yeah,
And
and
I
this
think it
kid
minimized
goes
it.
crazy though. He's and the thing is
good.
he's dope too. So
Yeah.
I think how crazy that is. The only thing I do
At
see
11 years old.
wonder why is for no kid, right? For no kid though, I don't wish that upon nobody as far as those pressures or the comments that come with it.
Yeah.
Or the hate for anybody's kid, anybody's program with the youngsters like that, because mentally, as a person who's been in the mental health field and works myself or dealt with stuff myself as an adult, there's no way I feel a kid could handle comments, gestures, or that type of scrutiny they may get because of their gameplay on the court. You know what I mean? Or their shine. That's the part I would worry about. You said,
Yeah.
I think that's something our parents need to really, really think twice about before just getting their kid out there.
Well, that's the thing too. People talk about, you have 70,000 people following you, but that's not 70,000 people rooting for you.
Right.
True.
There's people out there
like
that
that.
are
Yeah.
right? They're rooting for your downfall. So
True.
that's why they grab a screenshot, they record something,
Man.
because not everybody. And sometimes people save that stuff. So that's why you hear these stories about something coming out in a kid's social media.
Right.
So I posted that 4 years ago. Well, it's because not everybody's on your side.
Yeah.
Like some people want to see your downfall. Not everybody loves you. And so when you have 70,000 followers, some of those people are your enemies.
Yeah.
That want to see your downfall, and maybe even your parents' enemies.
Right.
And they'll use you as collateral. It doesn't really matter, but like people don't think of it that way. It's like 70,000 people, even if it's, even 100 people. There's a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah,
for sure.
And so it's like you got to be careful with that stuff. And so, like we talked about before, it's dope for the content creation. I've seen some incredible athletic feats from kids, like you said,
Right.
11-year-olds. Like I can't do that now. But then there's the flip side too, where you've seen entire programs crumble. I mean, you remember was it 2 years ago? There was a couple of football programs up the hill that I'm not going to mention the name. They had the slave auction in the locker room.
Yes.
And they recorded it.
I definitely heard about that.
Well, guess
Yeah.
what? They didn't
Right.
finish that season because someone
Yeah.
recorded it.
Done.
And they did this horrible thing, and then it gets caught on camera. Whole season's done.
Yeah,
See, they
man.
don't think about it.
And
that
they were
way.
trying to say, "Oh, it's just a joke," or it was,
But-
just, bro, it's wild.
And I think that's
bro.
the lack of empathy, just in general, though, right? Because it's not right. What's not right is not right anyway. But nobody had that piece in them or a player. Hope I'm not sure, but that's how quick it can go from bad to good, or we have something that's gone.
Yeah.
And you have to walk that line. Like even people, I'm sure about your platforms. And I know Chris, you're a lot. Even though I know you're more of the blunt person, you're gonna say, but it's your platform, right?
Yeah.
But also, I would still say though, you still need to. You're gonna monitor what kind of guests come on your show.
Yeah,
you're gonna
100%.
you're gonna have an
Yeah.
idea because again, like I said, your brand,
Yeah.
your sponsors, like okay, this is
100%.
this is your,
Yeah.
So even realize that people say, hey, or Jay, can you post this for me on here? When I first started doing it, man, through COVID, I got a couple DMs from some music people in the Bay Area, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not a music platform.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you can go to somebody else who does
Yeah,
music,
yeah.
but for me, that wasn't what I was gonna put on here, But I was like, you gotta monitor because people will go, hey, oh, this what you rocking? Oh, you supporting that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I think that can play too. About
I
what
definitely
you're doing.
pushed the line. Trust me.
I know.
I definitely pushed the line.
But that's based upon your foundation too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm like, that's what it is. People know. If I want the real, I'm gonna go. Oh, see, finna come on. I'm finna watch. I had to jump on live a couple times. So let me get on with these boys because I like it. But I like the energy was dope. But it was keeping it real. I'm like, nah, we can be ourselves and talk. But also, that's what his platform is, and that's why people watch whatever it is. So I'm like, that's to support it. So that's you. But some people who your brand or what you are or your kids, you gotta structure how you want your kids to be looked at regardless, because now once you put the light on them, anybody could watch when they want to, the access, right? So that's something you just ought to be careful with, man.
Yeah, well, those comments aren't limited towards just the play either.
Yeah.
They're not going to just critique the way you play basketball.
True.
They'll go after your looks, your family.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to mention his name, but we had one guest that got a decent amount of YouTube views, and he had some people, because he said some things after a post football game, and all the comments attacked different parts of his personality. Nothing about his play, all about his personality.
Shoot.
And,
sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Oh, we good. It's just the motion sensor.
Oh, motion.
Joe, I was going to say, move the curtain. Let me see.
We all good.
It happens. I'll make sure I don't move the camera.
Man, that's one of the toughest parts about podcasting, right? The technology.
Hey, man, we still good.
It'll turn on you at some point.
Hey,
First time it happens.
I was about to say, man, now we're in this $1 billion studio over here. Hey, it's all right. It's good, man.
I need Matt Barnes and Steven
We
Jackson's podcast
Yeah.
budget.
Hey, man, then we rocking. Then we mobile. We finna pull up on people.
Exactly. No, go ahead. What are you saying about
But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, people, I mean, they're not going to just go after what you're posting. They're not going to just comment on your technique, your play.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna take it personal, and there's no filter on the internet too. Like you said,
No.
with your platform, you're more blunt. You'll just say it how it is.
Yeah.
You're also built for it. So when you say those things,
I know I'm
it's
gonna
coming.
get some backlash.
Yeah.
But also, it's not new to you, though. That's how you
yeah,
move.
yeah,
So you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
all right, thanks, appreciate it. All right. Next topic. I'm on,
Exactly.
you know what I
I'm
mean?
just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But an 11-year-old kid,
Yeah.
they think they know, and then they start getting those comments. It's like, I don't think you were built for this.
Somebody I was just watching earlier. Listen, again, I'm way up here. Had a ride from South Sac up here, so I had a little ways to go. They was saying that just the that part about just people. You said being built or the kids, but they're not equipped to do that because they're not even mature enough to really be able to deal with the emotions of that. But also they grow up on the social media depending upon those certain likes, but you really don't know this person.
Yeah.
You really don't, you know what I mean? So now you're letting them affect your mood because you want to be all the likes, you don't want the comments, but that was come with it. So, that's what there are social media generation right now. Those kids right now are being brought up in it, right? Like we had friends, I had to go to Chris' house, I wanted to go holler at him.
Right.
I couldn't, Chris living in Rocklin, I say in South Sac and me just talking FaceTime, whatever, DM
Right,
like that.
right.
And then, all right, they will link up once every couple, whatever. Nah.
Yep.
When we grew up down the block, I'm pulling up. You right here? I'm at your house. You know what I mean? Oh, sleep overnight? Oh, we over there playing Madden? Cool.
Yep.
We're not just internet. Now they stay at home, play internet with kids across the country, so it just changed the way communication too, right? 100%. Communication in itself has changed, so I think that's a big factor too.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the next thing I wanted to ask you guys, and like I said, it's just so for you and your platform, overall, and this is going to be for both you guys, but I want what is the overall message and premise you want to get across when you're speaking to guests and people on your platform?
Yeah, man. So for home team Sacramento specifically, kind of our tagline is, we may wear different uniforms, but we're all on the home team, and that's not meant to be some, kumbaya, we all get along, no competition. Like it's the exact opposite of that. Like I always felt like if you're not competing, then there's a whole piece of your character that you're missing. You've got to compete no matter what you're doing, no matter who. I mean, a lot of times it's competing against yourself. If it's an opponent, if it's for a job, if it's for a spot on the team, a starting spot, whatever it is, you got to compete.
Life is competition.
Life is competition. 100%.
Yes.
And so that's a big part of it. So it's not this, hey, we don't want to compete. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You got to compete. But at the end of the day, no matter what your platform is, if you're a coach and you're in this community or the greater Sacramento area, you're giving your time, your blood, sweat, and tears to make the community better. You're giving your time and energy to give student athletes a better opportunity than maybe we had or the people before us had. And so when it comes to that, when it comes to making a difference, when it comes to impacting the lives of young people, we're all part of this home team. We're all moving in the same direction. Now, that being said, when it's time to play, we still want to compete.
Yeah.
We still want to
yeah.
win. But
No
see, that's
doubt.
the same thing, though. Like, if I'm competing against someone, I got to give my very best because I want them to be better. The only way they're going to be better is if they're competing against someone who's really trying. If you have someone who's just kind of laying down, it's like, I don't want to be, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to compete. It's not going to work. You have to have that competition. And so we're all kind of working together in this ecosystem of Sacramento and the sports world to make the home team better. And so that's kind of the goal of the podcast. But just in general, man, like I said before, I have so much respect and value for what you guys do as coaches because like we said, especially for basketball, all sports, but basketball, you guys aren't held by the weather. You guys can practice any time of day.
Yeah, you're right.
No matter what the weather is. There's no excuse. Like if the gym's open, if the lights are on, you can be at the gym. And so a lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings, a lot of days traveling, like we talked about. Might be around here, might be across the country, but the impact that coaches have on the lives of athletes is incredible. And it's crazy. One of the questions I ask on my podcast is, hey, who's a coach that had a tremendous impact on your life when you were young? And they'll name a coach. And the crazy thing is they'll never say, I remember when this coach called this play. We had 3 seconds left in the state championship. He called this play and we won. It's nothing. It's not about the X's and O's. It's none of that. It's always, hey, this coach pushed me. Yeah. This coach believed in me. This coach challenged me and saw something in myself that I didn't see in myself. Or it's like, hey, my family was going through it. And the one person, the first person to call was coach. Hey, I was in the hospital. I was dealing with a disease or an injury. First person to be there besides my family was coach. Yeah. And that stuff sticks with people. That's why you get other coaches that, guys like yourself. I'm sure you had great coaches that made you want to become coaches later and give back. And so the impact that coaches can have on the lives of young people is incredible. And like we keep saying, and it's the thing that I love the most is you're teaching life lessons. And so there's some stat out there. I can't remember what the article is. I wish I could cite it, but they were talking about how people who are more successful in their careers, whatever their career is, they've participated in some kind of sport. Yeah. And they're careful to say, they're not saying, hey, they were a D1 athlete, they were a pro athlete, they were a starter in their high school team. They say they participated. Yeah. You do the base level of playing a sport, which is participate. That means you may never have played a down or an inning or a quarter, but you were on the team and you were learning those life lessons. You were learning the mindset, how to work hard, how to grind, how to be on time, how to stay disciplined, all these different things. And it's because you participated in sports.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. Yeah. Not just cut you off.
No,
it's just funny. You made me think, and maybe you guys saw this too, or I just always found it strange when I met people that didn't play a sport like ever. You know what I mean?
Like nothing, like one thing?
Never, where, and no knock on them, or if that's you who's listening, okay. But no, I never, not that I looked at them, I devalued them as a person, not that kind of lens. I'm just saying I always found it just particularly strange because in my mind, I'm like from age 5 or 4 to, you're 30-something years old and you never wanted to try, or your parents never, you know what I mean? Like that's because I do think no matter what your sport is, you participate, you do learn things just through whatever sport you're playing, 100%. Like that sense of community that always is going to stick with you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, and I agree. It is weird when like you said, it says nothing about them as a person or a character, but it's weird. If I'm just gonna be real about it, it's weird. Yeah. And I was even talking to my pops about this the other day. I said, we played baseball, we played sports growing up, and he taught us how to throw a ball, all that stuff. I'll still run across people that have never thrown a ball.
That's crazy.
Or learned how to throw a ball. It's not second nature. Like you throw me something right now, it's like, hey, throw it back. I'll just throw it. Yeah. I won't even think about it. I've met some people that's like, and you're watching them try to process, like, how do I make this ball go from here to over there? What is going on? It's the same thing, man. They just didn't do it. And so, but all that being said, like it's hard to imagine learning some of these life disciplines if it wasn't for sports. Mm-hmm. Like when you're, I tried out for basketball. We were joking before. I tried out my freshman year of high school. I played a couple of leagues growing up. And I knew it wasn't really my thing, but I'm like, I'm gonna give it a shot. And it was pretty clear pretty early on. I made the first cut.
Okay, well that's good.
The first cut, and then after that, it's a funny story actually. So at the end of each practice, our coach would have us shoot free throws and pair up.
Okay.
And so we knew cuts were coming. And so he ended practice. He's like, all right, shoot some free throws. Well, I noticed the first time he did that for the first cuts, he started maneuvering people around. And so eventually he was moving the two people who were going to get cut together so he could have the conversation. Right. And so this practice ends, we're shooting free throws, and I can start seeing people moving like, I'm up. I'm coming up next. And so eventually and I saw the guy was kind of moving my direction. I'm like, yeah, we're about to get cut. Oh, man. And so I get cut. And I'm like, okay, cool. I knew this was coming. I tried. It was a good experience. But
at least you tried. I mean, those kids that don't do that. That's what I'm saying.
And so I'm like, okay, cool. I can take this. And I grew up with parents saying, hey, just keep your head up, keep going. It's all good. This is not the end of the world. So he ends practice. Now they ended practice by doing suicides. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to just go out like a punk. I'm gonna finish practice.
Right.
The other guy left, and so I get on the line ready to go, and he's about to blow his whistle. And he's like, hey, Josh, you don't have to do this if you don't want. Like, we cut you. Like, nah, thanks, coach. I was going to go out quiet, but yeah, I'm going to still do the sprints and finish this thing out.
He's like, you don't have to run.
You don't
anymore.
have to. You good now. That he shouldn't have done.
I
But
was like, man, I can't run very fast, but these sprints are going to hurt a lot less than that hurt right there.
true. No doubt, man.
But that being said, though, man, it was a good life lesson. Like, hey, you try something, like you said, you fail, but you just keep moving.
Pick yourself
and
up
so
and keep going.
Even I just participated in the tryouts, but still taught me a life lesson. And so, long story short, man, that's kind of my goal. It's the heart behind what I do. Is I want to create conversations. I always looked at it like I didn't play D1. I played baseball in high school. I didn't play a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not this athlete where you can look at him. It's like, look at his athletic journey. You're not going to look at mine and say that's how you want to go. But I started looking around like, how do I get involved in this world of sports that I love so much?
You can hear your passion, bro.
And like, how do I help?
On your show. Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. And that's the thing. Like, you know what? If I can't play the sports I love, if I can't be a major league pitcher, if I can't do all these different things, well, maybe I can have conversations with people that have done great things. Maybe I can talk to people about their journeys and kind of tap into that and give them a platform so that other athletes, other coaches around the area can hear it. So I can pass the rock around a little bit. I can't shoot myself,
right?
But I can give a platform to other people so that they can share their story, and then hopefully, like I said, build up this home team. So maybe something that Coach JT said on the podcast that we did inspires a basketball coach or a basketball player. Mm-hmm. And if I can contribute in that way to the sports world, that's what I want to do. So, but that's the heart behind the show, man.
No, I love it. Same for you, JT.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's very similar, but then it can even reach to more so just purposeful for me too, man. It's like during COVID, of course, had a lot of downtime, so people were potting. But I'm like, man, I've been talking sports basketball forever, right?
Right.
I mean, I was the younger, my auntie, I mean, she'd always say to my great aunt, man, I know you're going to be the coach because you was the coach on the court. You tell everybody where to go. You know all the positions. I'm like, well, I mean, I love everything about the game, but then once I started coaching too, it was like, yeah, I mean, I want to be good at this, but also, I mean, of course, which could have got paid to get to play, didn't happen for me, but knew that early. So I jumped right into coaching after I graduated college and just try to build my own path with it, but also realize, again, people reporting to me, people supported me, coaches, whatever. So I was like, there's young men or ladies out there who need somebody to be that person for them. So one, that was okay, that's a purposeful moment. Okay, cool. But now it's like, man, this actually can be a profession. I could do this for a long time and hopefully, get a decent job somewhere coaching where I could provide for my family or, what I'm saying, just, and my family's a close-knit. Like, I'm coaching, they come to games, or if I need to work a door at a term, they come and we just support each other. We're a sports family, so I think that's just in us. But even more so now, man, after COVID, I was like, I did one interview, shout out to Odie Strahan, his podcast, man, Straight Talk. I was like, I know I can do this. And I was like, let me ask him. Like, oh, man, how do I get started? He said, man, you can start real basic. Just the microphone you get, audio. So I was in the closet, whatever, trying to create the kid, right? So I'm doing Zoom, but I'm recording, and I was like, okay. And I'm like, now, anybody gonna listen to this? And to keep it 100, I probably only listen to about, I'm 100 something in now, maybe like 10 episodes of mine, like all the way through. Yeah. Because I just felt like, you know what? I'm just gonna give my best shot, but then I'm gonna just try to get better every time. But then I did start listening, but I started watching more other people's podcasts. Mm-hmm. Or asking people who listen to mine, just give me some pointers, because I may be my worst critic or thought I was comfortable. I said, I don't want to listen to mine. I'll ask somebody else. But I was like, you know what, man? One, it's fun. But one, I'm learning about people who I either already knew, because actually also most of my guests, really, I've either known personally or one person may have been that link up as far as that connection. But most people I've interviewed so far, I've actually met them in passing maybe or some type of encounter. So it's like, it's a relationship thing too. But also I think, yes, we talked about it. Big guests, yeah. Would I want the big guests that get the crazy views? Yeah, but really, I take it. I'm a Sacramento person through and through, man. It's home for me. Like I said, home team. Well, I'm a home team loyal person. So I'm like, you know what? What about people in Sacramento? I know a lot of dope people in Sacramento I've dealt with or been cool with or came across, and I was like, wait a minute. And HBCU, I'm a HBCU graduate, so I'm like, man, I'm repping as we speak right now. Homecoming week is next week, so I'm just like, you know what? I know a lot of people with HBCU who are now doctors, lawyers, who are athletes, but also who are coaches, and maybe I can, one, help get my students from out this way down south to HBCU maybe, or if one of my boys who's a track coach, and he's like, well, Jay, if you got a kid, yeah, it's NAIA school, but we got track and basketball. We could probably, just those networking tools. I say, you know what? If I can use this as a platform, as a networking tool, right? And then now, through sponsorship, businesses, okay, wait a minute now. Man, people want to pay for ad space, but I have to have enough quality, right, build up that. So, I mean, really just turn into an actual business to where, as we know, we're in California, we got to earn our money out here.
Yes.
And nothing cheap. So now if I can get residual income, but also give something people want, because it was so dope, man. I've been a professor now 7 years, and one of the students who was in my class at Fortune came up. He was like, Coach JT. I was like, what? He said, yeah, you Coach JT, right? I was like, yeah. He said, I watch your show all the time.
What's up.
I don't miss episode. And then shout out to Marcellus. You know, he watched that one too. You know, he's one of the big fans of Marcellus. He said, I watched that one too. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, I watch your show. I was like, all right, look, what's your name? I'm going to give you a shout out my next one. He's like, for real?
That's always
I said,
cool,
yeah,
man.
I'm going to give you a shout out. And to me, again, just like coaching something else, it wasn't about any type of dollar amount. It was about that somebody actually taking value in what I'm bringing to the table and then using it and it kind of fulfilling something in them or kind of, you know, keep them coming back. And I was like, it's a dope feeling, man.
Yeah,
like, I'm not paying him to do this or whatever, vice versa. I'm not paying. He's tuning in because he either likes the content or he watches or he sees something in there. And I'm like, you know what? To me, again, that's what keeps it going. Or sometimes when we get, because that people who don't pod don't know how much work it takes, right? To do episodes and you know, stuff like that. So, and I was like, you know what? I can do this, but also, like I said, being from Sacramento, I'm like, man, I could highlight a lot of dope people because I started out strictly as basketball, sports, right? Sure. But I said, you know what? No, it's other people in the world or in Sacramento who do things. I just want to get a chance to, like you said, shout out because maybe it's a connection. Like I've had people say, hey, do you mind sending me their Instagram or email because of whatever reason? I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let me check first. Okay, they said email them here. Or I've emailed one of the young ladies from HBCU, but she's one of the first black, don't get me wrong, but she went to FAMU, but she's at Vanderbilt now. Got accepted into a program. I think it's some type of neurology program. I'm like, that's super dope. It's other black women who are out here who want to be in her field, may not have no idea or nobody to relate to. But now they see her, and like, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, she said email her here. You can, you know, so I just like that part. It's fun to help somebody, man. Again, home team, right? Team player, trying to see us succeed. I want to see you win too, because if you succeed, I feel like, hey, even if I played a small part, to me, that's all worth it, man. We're all winning. And right now, again, like we talked about right now, Chris, I don't know if what we're doing right now, we could be the pioneers of this, right? People do go on other people's podcasts, I know, but even say locally, right? I don't know if people in Sacramento have done this yet, but we're doing it
think so.
selflessly.
Yes.
As soon as you messaged me last week about this, I was like, oh man, we've known each other for a few years now. We chime in and then back and forth, and we've already known each other. I said, man, of course, it's
that's
dope.
What I'm saying.
But the crossover is
he hit me first,
really?
and then that's when me and him talked, and I was like, I said, well, me and JT
makes sense.
We've been wanting to collab for a minute, so I said, let me see if and that's when he told me I said, oh, let's
behind the scenes we never know, right? And it never was like, oh, nah, I don't need that, or I'm trying to. We were all on the same page, not even know we all want to do this, make this happen. But I think again with life, sports, more people need to be together on things because we can move more. We can get our different viewers in front of all platforms because some of my viewers may not watch your show yet. Yeah. But now they may vice versa, but it helps everybody. And I think for me, that's what my podcast is going to and going further forward because I just want to see other people win, but also I want to see other people get opportunity. If you want a podcast, hey, I can tell you as much as I know. Right. Because somebody didn't charge me for that information. He gave it to me for free.
Yeah, it's true.
And I'm like, it's only right that I bless somebody else with it. And so that's why I'm like, man, I have so much fun with it. And plus, being on the basketball side, I was telling him I had a chance to go do the Big Three over this summer. I saw that. I'm like, bro, I'm a basketball junkie. So you telling me I get to meet Julius Gervin, Clyde Drexler, Damian Lillard. Jeez. I mean, I'm meeting all these dudes, man. Shout out to my boy Dante. I gotta get the verbals. Dante Green, Dominic Johnson, man, D Block, like all those guys that I met just over the summertime. Physically, bro, I see them on TV. Some of the other guys I've seen. Clyde, I've never shaking his hand, man. I'm in an elevator with Nancy Lieberman and Ice Cube. I'm like, bro, I don't care. I'm like, bro, I'm right next to these people, bro. It's like this. I've never would have thought, but because of the relationships I built, trying to be respectful and honorable, also paying it forward, it's come back to me. I couldn't ask for nothing better than that, man. They was like, Jay, 100%. Just show up. We got you. Media dude, hit my boy Dominic, media guy, took care of me. I had media pass, no issues. You know what I mean? So to me, that's a life experience I'll never forget. You know, so I mean, that's why I tell my guys I coach and people I teach, treat others how you want to be treated, and don't burn those bridges, man. Yeah. Because you might want to walk across that thing again. Yeah. Maybe 10 years down the line. Yeah. But you want to go across because you never know who you're meeting. So, man, I've definitely enjoyed that space and opportunity for it. But also just the respect from people in Sacramento. But, hey, man, I see you working. I see what you're doing. And like you talked about, I don't chase the clicks. I don't do the messy stuff on my, but I try to create my own lane, but to add value just for myself. And that's what I built it on. And people are like, you know what? I'm rocking with you. And I'm like, oh, that's it. That's all I need, man. So that's that foundation for me. And try to build it up from there, man.
That's dope. So I want to ask you guys, what in the state of with Sacramento, and I talk about this a lot, and just from my observation, working in AAU basketball but collaboration in Sacramento seems difficult. You know, it seems like it's. I'm sure you feel it and see it on our side of things in terms of like just basketball coaching, trainers, things like that. It's really become this like me-centric culture of, we're trying to, I'm staying in, this is my kid, this is my lane, I ain't working with nobody, things like that. Like I said, that's part of the premise of why I do things like this. I'm big on, I want people to collaborate and work together and bring our resources together and help elevate together.
You can touch more that way, bro.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just curious if you guys see some of this type of stuff, and I don't know. I don't have a fix. I don't have something like, oh, we do this, it fix all this. No, I just think you got to start somewhere, right? And like I said, little simple things like this, like people see this episode come out. You guys obviously share it on your platforms. I'm sharing it on my platforms. Yep. People just see it and they go, oh, these three guys work together. They made a dope episode, and they talked about some great nuanced stuff. I'm just curious of your guys' take on any of that, if you see it at all. But I just unfortunately see in the youth athletic spectrum, there seems to be a lot of divide and not a lot of collaboration.
Yeah, man, that's interesting because earlier today, before obviously I got here, I was listening to a little bit of the episode you did with Marcellus, who's a common friend of all of us.
Yeah.
And you guys touched on that a little bit, saying that specifically in the basketball space, that it's pretty cutthroat, and people are going at each other, trying to tear each other down, which is crazy because I think when we first had our phone conversation, I was telling you, anytime we have someone in the basketball world on my podcast, they put up pretty good numbers, and I'm like, oh, this seems like it's basketball and softball, the two areas where it seems like when you put out an episode with a guest from that world, everybody kind of flocks to that episode. But it might, now that you say that, it might be what I said earlier about social media, where it's like there's some people that are listening because they love you.
Yeah. There
might be a whole other section of listeners that are listening to hear if you slip up that one.
No doubt.
And so that's interesting, man. I'm not gonna lie, I was bummed to hear that when I heard that on that episode, because I was going to talk to you guys about that, because I was expecting the exact opposite, where it's collaborative, supportive. But I mean, it's with all these different sports, right? And you guys have mentioned it a couple of times. Everybody thinks their kid's the best,
right? And
if a coach says otherwise, well, that coach doesn't know what they're talking about. So they go find it. I mean, it's like you can Google almost anything. If I want to find out why, soda's good for my health,
you'll find something.
I can go find it. You know what I mean? And it's like the same thing with these coaches. It's like, well, this coach doesn't think my kid's going to make it. Like you joked about before, 5'2".
Yeah,
you're not gonna make it.
You're not going D1. I'm sorry.
5'2" as a senior, it's not gonna happen. But they're like, well, let me find a coach who does think, and then they find another coach, and it validates whatever their delusion is. And so I feel like it's a lot of that, right? I mean, I don't know where the divide comes from. I mean, that'd be a better question for you guys. Do you think the divide comes from? Is it more so the different programs and the coaches? Is it the families that are causing the issue? Like, where does that problem come from?
I'm gonna say this.
Go first?
No, I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna keep it. I mean, as far as I would like to be as specific as possible, as far as just the person of the coach or the trainer or like that, because it's the selflessness in it, though, right? I feel like, I mean, again, in relationships, some people don't value the same as I do. Like I said, when he called, I've been talking to him for we've been chopping it up since he's been doing pods and commenting and vice versa. I either want to inform him or give some information to him, but I also want to be receptive of what he's saying, because he has a point of view that I may not have, and it's hard to get people. And if it's just, I mean, males or females, I'm not sure on the female side of how, but males to be like, oh, no, this is me. But like you said, together, I can hold the camp. I'm like, I want to call Chris. Hey, come run the station for me, bro. I want to be able to call these other trainers, be like, hey, get them in the same room without having anybody animosity, because our goal is to get the kids to work. It's not about us, but that's the part that kind of sucks for me, because it's like, man, take yourself out of that, out of it. It's for the kids that you're servicing or training or working with to benefit them. So, yes. Chris, like I said, we talk about Dr. Dish. Shout out to Dr. Dish. We come, he got shoe machines over there. Yep, please do. Oh, you know what? Oh, I know somebody else in the South Side. He's a good ball handling coach like that. Please go see him.
Yeah.
Please go see him work on that crazy handle, because you put my shot with the crazy handle. It's like everybody, you create a better player overall. It's not just, oh, you stay here with me because I can work on this. No, I know myself. I'm limited at certain training things too. I can't do that. All right, be honest with myself. All right, nah, please do. People call me all the time. Hey, I live on this side of town. Who you suggest I go see? Bam. If you're in North Sac, here's the 3 trainers in this area. If you're in Rocklin, I'm giving, because I don't want you to drive to South Sacramento to work with me or somebody else I know in South Sac. Bro, like, go see them.
Right.
Tell them JT sent you. Hopefully they look out for you even more. But that's why, and I think that's probably the biggest thing, is it's enough basketball playing kids around. So it's not about the players enough, the numbers. I think it's more so personal as far as I want to, like you said, we see a lot of posts on our side where if somebody gets an offer or goes somewhere, then you see somebody post, oh yeah, I work with this, vice versa. But they've probably worked with 5-10 other people too. And the other 5 just they didn't say nothing.
They want to attach themselves to
that person named. Hopefully, now if that's your way of, but see, the wrong vision, right? You're trying to get either a job with a D1 level as a coach or a coaching program. You always want to do that, right? Add to your resume, but it's a way to go about doing it. Oh, shout out to all the trainers who work with this student, this player, because I'm sure some kids never work with one trainer all their life, right? If you did that, it'd be different. Oh, shout out to all the trainers. You guys did a great job working, whatever. This success is for everybody, but it's more so I instead of we or team, and I think that's brought it together because like I've thought about this for years, and we talked a couple years ago. I was like, I want to do a camp, get guys together, but then I go back, some guys like, man, I can't be in a room. I'm like, what? We're doing a hoop camp for kids. All you got to do is run a station, but that's why also for me. But it takes somebody too, and I think I don't care. I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna try it. But I'm gonna have those conversations with each individual trainer beforehand. This is what it is. This is what we want to do. And for me, it's about leaving impact in my community right now. Like really, really purpose right now. Where I'm at in my life, stress-free, live healthy, be safe, family all right? And be stuff that brings joy to myself. But bringing joy to me is creating environments where people can be successful together. Kids are blessed or kids reap the benefits, and we all win. That's what life is about for me personally. So it's like, okay, look, how can I live that life? I want to have people I know in the same room because I know you're all dynamic in your fields, man. Like, that's what I want to do. And it sucks. It takes so much work to get something like that happen without people, the egos, you know what I mean? So it's like, again, that's the toughest part for me to see.
And that's what he's touched on, that him saying that keyword egos, right? That's what I think ultimately is the answer to that question of why there's divide in the basketball field. It's egos. I mean, Kevin Hart said it a while ago on one of his many podcast appearances, but he was just saying, he was just talking about, I can, Chris Rock can call me and I can collaborate. Dave Chappelle can call me and we can say, hey, let's just do a thing together. Like, there's just
selflessness,
just selfless and just no ego. And when I hope that we get to a point where a lot of the people in the basketball youth community can get to that point, then I think we'll really see. Because, like, a big thing I advocate for, and you'll hear it if you hear my shows, I talk about it all the time, is a lot of our talent gets outsourced everywhere. Sacramento talent.
They dip on us.
Yeah, they just always get outsourced. And it's kind of frustrating. It's very frustrating. I ain't going to lie. It's very frustrating on my side because, like, we talked about, like, before the show, a kid can walk in here not knowing how to dribble a ball, 4 or 5 years old, and become phenomenal by age 16, and then they go play for the Oakland Soldiers the last couple years, and then they get a D1 scholarship. Well, guess who's posting them and all that? It's the Oakland Soldiers. So who gets all the credit? The Oakland Soldiers. Not to say it's all about my credit or about my club's credit, but it, a little validation doesn't hurt you, right? Like a little bit of saying, hey, thanks, YBA, I appreciate the work. But that's where I have to always kind of check myself and just go, you know what? He got his success. Ultimately, that's what matters, right? Yeah. But it does, to a degree, suck to know basically I'm helping youth athletes get better for other places.
But we want our city to have that shine.
Exactly.
Right? That's what we want. We want to go, Sacramento, yes. Because if they leave before a certain time, Sacramento won't get that.
They won't get that credit.
And that's the only thing I think I would say that. Like, if we could do that to where it is, again, the selflessness, we could really put Sacramento, based on the athletes we have in our own city, like, okay, they really got some ones up here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we do. But then he ended up going to Modesto or Stockton. Stockton got, Sacramento, you know what I mean? That's the part that, how do we keep them here? Because, again,
and want them to
stay.
Want to stay and represent
because of
here.
either and again, that's something you probably definitely know more so about. Is it the program styles, is it where they're playing at? They want to get in all that. They want to have those same opportunities. Well, to get that, you got to have that type of team too. Right?
Yeah,
you got to have. So if we can put those teams together, now comes opportunity to stay together or go more places, or so be seen at a different level. But that's the part we're struggling at, is getting one or two of those elite teams that represent the whole city and put us on the map that way for sure. Because if they had views of our elite team going somewhere, I know it would go crazy. Because you could put 916 on a jersey and people really about, okay, these are elite. Okay, get behind it. you know, but it's so many small entities and dudes like that. We never have a chance to come together, man, and form that one. Like, oh, these boys, all right. These boys, they can go. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if you look at the roster of kids who came from Sac, though, who ended up leaving, there's some talented brothers on the roster, male and female on both sides.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Like, and it's interesting because outside of and part of it is because California is so big.
So damn big.
You know, like because I ended up finishing up in Chicago for my well, specifically Deerfield, Illinois, but for my my degree in hooping and whatnot. Being out in the Midwest, you realize how small other states are. Yeah. So it's like when you're playing a team from Illinois, it is like the best. It's like the best 10 kids in their state. You know what I mean? Like, but here we talk like the best 10 kids in Sacramento, right? You know, but that's not even counting the best 10 kids in Oakland, the best 10 kids in LA, the best 10 kids and even different parts of LA, San Diego, like all that, like Orange County.
You can break it up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's another peak component as well. Yeah. But like an interesting thing that I even brought up the episode I had Andre Stojakovic. I said, you know, the last 2 years or the last, and I shouldn't say 2 years, sorry, the last in recent time to McDonald's All-Americans, and for high school basketball, you know, that's a real high honor. That's top. Came from Sacramento. You had Andre Stojakovic and Jordan Brown. Yeah. And they were Sacramento guys. Jordan Brown went to Wood Creek, but then left and finished up at Prolific. And
was Jace Jared a McDonald's All-American? Yeah, McCain?
Was he?
I don't know. Yeah, he had to be. He was getting ready to play the year.
Yeah, he probably. I'm sure he had to be.
He's in the NBA right now.
Yeah, but in the league, like, you know, he's from here. And then you got Jerry McCain who just got drafted, Jalen Wells who just got drafted, and shout out to him. He did my show. Yep. Like, you know, that's. But again, a lot of these kids, with the exception of Jalen actually. I was
gonna
say,
stay. You know, I was saying like, but that's the thing. I hope they look at that too. Yeah. He did stay through the program, and he started off at a Division II, went up, and now he's in the league, bro. Yeah. Like, even it's crazy. I'll give it. Also went to Michigan, man. DJ.
Oh, DJ Wilson.
DJ Wilson. You know what I mean? Yeah. DJ Wilson. But it and that's the thing. So I want people to know it can happen too, right? Y'all don't think it can't happen. You got to make choices. I get it, but you still can get to your goals based upon if you're staying in Sacramento. It's just how you move, who you move with, but also it's about that work ethic, man. I will say this again. I've seen Jalen for years. Knows older brother DeAndre. I was like, man, but you always say he's a little brother, right? Yeah. I see why. This dude's a gym rat. He eat, sleep, dream basketball. Yep. Shout out to DV out there in Folsom, working with Jalen. I was like, bro, and I interviewed him, got a chance to interview him 2 hours in Sonoma, but just a real humble kid. Yeah. Attitude. But talk about work. He can shoot the cover off that thing. He's got a high skill set. That's where he is now. And it's like, so it can happen no matter if you leave or stay. But yes, we would want our kids to stay too. So I mean, it's our city. I take pride in my home though, man. I think that's why I tell I'm a homer. Like, bro, people be knocking Sacramento. I'm like, nah, don't do it. You don't want to do that, man. You know what I mean? We it sound good, but don't take us for granted up here, man.
No, and so JT, I wanted to ask you. Yeah. You know, you've been like you said, you've been coaching a long time. You've seen, you know, all aspects of it, youth wise, you know, AAU wise, high school wise, all, you know, and whatnot. What would you say is kind of the nuance, because that's become kind of a topic or argument nowadays, right? Mm-hmm. I've had parents say to me, you know, do you need high school ball? Mm-hmm. And then I've had parents say to me, do you need AAU to? And you know, my answer is you need both. Period. You need high school athletics and AAU basketball in terms of being on those big platforms, and it's no different for any sport, for volleyball, for baseball, for football. Well, they have 7-on-7, which is their version of AAU, but even still, like, you need both. You need school ball and you need the travel competitive athletic side. Just curious on your thoughts, being that you're in all those fields.
Yeah, man. Like you said, I remember going on live with you and another couple other guys about this topic. First off, for the high school aspect, as for right now, I think yes. So since, as we know, right, for us in our days, and we're dating ourselves in our age, man. High school back then was it, because that was just it.
Everything.
Unless you were good enough to play Nike League or on those things where they actually came and was like, oh, yep, you get selected. So that was it. But also, wasn't no open enrollment. I went to Southside School here. We played at school down the street. I went to school where I lived at. So it meant then, you know, as far as that goes. But now, I would say high school is more so now teaching. It's really the off the court stuff too. Can you go to class? Can you be academically stable? Because now practice can be either after school or dang near 7 o'clock at night because you got a school with 3 teams. You got to go late practice if that's the case. Or coaches like myself now aren't on campus anymore like I was before. So based upon schedule, it has to adjust. So you're really teaching high school kids, can you get up in the morning, either get an early workout in? If coach goes early, you got to go to school. That's prepping you for that college lifestyle, really, right? It's a long day. AAU, I feel, that's like, okay, on Christmas break or in the off season, oh yeah, I can go kick it, but now I can go get extra work in. Yeah. So I think now it's more so, I had to realize this too, it's more a training, mental, physical process step, learning actual walking through it, right? Because before, again, when I was high school, yeah, it meant everything. We wanted to play everybody, anybody, games meant everything for us. Bragging rights, everything. Now, I don't think kids really care about their schools that much besides of who I'm going to see at lunchtime or who I'm going to go make video with during passing period, stuff like that. It's not the value in that. But also, you know, I don't even know about the relationship part. Some of my friends I played with in high school, and I talked about him, somebody he went to school with, some of them are my best boys to this day. Like, we have a lot of stories, good, bad, ugly, like parents going through things together. A lot of my boys had single parents home too, so we were like brothers then, but moms knew I was at his house, vice versa, she knew I was at. So we grew bonds that way, but also for us, it made us tighter on the court, high school-wise. Oh, we rocked on the court. They were like, damn, we played together all the time. Some of us got to play 4 years together, which is great. Some people came in late, but we still accepted them once we realized that, and it just made the gameplay better. So, but now kids get that part from the AAU. They get the camaraderie part, spinning trips. No,
like the culture.
Yeah, they get that. We got a road trip, so we got to hang out. We got to drive in the car 6 hours. We're hanging out because outside of that, they may not see. They're not gonna hang out like that because they're either doing their own thing or staying at home. But for us, basketball, high school was our outlet. Like, oh, I'm over his house. We got games. We got practice. Yeah. I know where you at, but you better call me at least when you get to your boyfriend. The mom gonna call me, right? Or the mom gonna say, hey, you at his house for the night? Are you good? Yeah. Or road trips, and that's where the camaraderie is. So I think the AAU has taken over as far as that. The visual scene, you can see more kids. But high school is more so now teaching life. It should be teaching more life lessons per athletes on how to maneuver this thing, because when you get into college, as you know, even if you're that 5-star, you're one and done, it's a long process for you. The days are longer, different. The travel is different. Trying to manage academics for those that got to keep the academics right. Like so I think that's more so. I've had to really. Because for a while I was, AAU just drove me crazy as far as but the playing aspect style, right? I was like, they just going.
They just throw the ball out.
They just going, no. And I'm like, man, I'm a little bit structured. I've had to shift. I had to learn through good, bad experience. Okay, be a little more lenient. Because that's when it started to cross over. You see kids in high school basketball try to do AAU stuff. I was like, what are you doing over here? You can't dribble the ball 5 times. Me, I'm a defensive coach too. I'm scouting. Oh, yeah, please let him dribble 5 times. Force to the left. He's not going to know what to do.
Right.
Hey, you can dribble 10 times. Nobody even say nothing.
Yep.
But high school, like, oh, yep, go that way. Funnel them. Chops coming. But now it's like the crossover. Okay, you can get an extra couple dribbling, but it's got to be quick and efficient. You know, stuff like that. So I've learned myself try to teach that way as well. Let the kids kind of still have their, but you got to give it to me on defensive end. No rest on this side. If you want to be able to do this down here and go down here and get to the rack, with an extra dribble that we may not need, you got to sell it on defense. So I've tried to combine that type of, and be open, right? As a coach, as a person, check myself. You know, and that's something that a man, ego, empathy has to do, change, but also to be like, okay, you know what? I still want to be respected, my foundation, but I still want to respect the game too. But also know, man, it's changed for us. There's not as much value in an actual high school setting unless you got those core guys who really care about it. And that's why you talk about guys going to different high schools, transfer. I want to play with them because they all care. Or I play with them AAU for 4 or 5 years. So now I go to high school, it's the same thing. It don't stop. And that's why a lot of those programs or teams who have kids play together, continuity, are so damn good. You're like, what the hell? They play together 12 months out the year. You're like, oh, this high school season. They're killing.
Yeah.
But I got to have tryouts in November with 2-3 kids I don't even never seen before. And they come out on my team. I'm like, I'm only 2-3 deep. They're 5, 6, 7 deep. And they play together 12 months. I see why I'm getting thumped by 30 in a high school game against some kids. But they just, so I think that's where it is right now. And as a coach personally, I've had to shift and move with the tide, but also try to stay relevant while keep my foundation the same, man. So, I mean, I accepted it. Okay. I've accepted it, but also I try to support my kids in their games, stuff like that. I go to their games and watch them or stuff like that. I've coached a couple AAU teams, but, I keep it to my same philosophy, but also realize, hey, you give them a little more leeway, but also know when high school comes, sometimes they got to reel it in because other coaches really care about this high school thing, or they scout, film is on. I can't just be like, okay, go out here and roll the ball out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm curious, because like I said, I don't know a ton about the AAU world.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're on these AAU teams. You have kids from all different areas and walks of life, right? And they come together to play on this team. Like you said, they build that chemistry, that continuity. But when it comes to the high school season, do you see a lot of kids trying to go to the same school because they play on the same AAU team, or do they? Because I mean, I imagine that would be a problem for some schools where it's like, a kid lives in your neighborhood, he should be going to your school, but he decides to open enroll at a different school.
That definitely happens.
That's
huge.
It's a massive battle.
Because open enrollment now is like, just give me an address.
Yeah.
CIF, whatever. As long as it legitimately gets signed off, they're good to go.
Yeah.
Because that started. I mean that. I went through experiences, man.
Well, I'll say that's why they try to get these kids at like middle school age. It's starting to.
Sean, I'll say this: I didn't know you had to go recruit heavy middle school kids. I mean, I know, but I know it was that bad to where you're going to every middle school game to whatever you got to do. I mean, it's like, wow, you really, and then
you got to go like talk to 6th grade kids for 2 or 3 years from now.
Yep.
Whoa.
To come to your school potentially.
That's gonna be a wild conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to talk to 12-year-old parents like, hey,
yeah, man,
are you thinking of my school? Like,
it's full college recruitment for middle school, elementary school kids. For high school, it is pretty much.
That's a weird. I'm assuming that's a weird power dynamic.
Yeah.
Because if you're a parent of a 6th grader and you have these well-known coaches that are approaching you, like, please, come to my program.
It's wild, right?
That's where, and that, like you talked about before, I imagine that's where some of the problems come in. Where some of the divide, some of the entitlement comes from, because that's starting at a pretty young age.
I just hate that some kids go to these schools. I mean, no, I don't hate it, but I wish based on they would take a deeper look on opportunity, because some kids go to schools and don't play and just donate money. They help fundraise, but their student or daughter never plays. When I'm like, there's plenty of other schools. Yes, they may not be these top schools in your area, but your son or daughter on that team can make that team a lot better.
Because they
can play a lot more minutes. You need court time.
They get swept on the division.
Yes. Yeah. And you need to be on the court playing, because if you get your numbers, you help your team win. One person may look at that.
Yeah.
But if you have nothing to put in that max prep stat sheet, DNP or 2 minutes here, what can you sell a coach if you're selling yourself on making your own highlight film or showing, all right, send me your sharing clips and send me your stats. All right, coach, I didn't play that. They don't have no visuals. Coaches want live game film, right? They want where the film at.
Especially if you want to play college.
Live game film. I don't need highlight tapes. Live game film. All you players out there, coaches want live game film. They can see highlights anywhere, right? But if you don't have that, what do you do? If you go to another school, oh man, we were above one game, two above 500, but yeah, I'm averaging 15, 17 in high school for a year. That's all city numbers in high school. 17 a game or something like that. Like, okay. All right, so you may have something that can translate, but if you don't have that on film, or what do they go by? And kids just don't think about that, or parents some as much. They like, oh yeah, they winning. All right, yeah, I can see you over here. Yeah, but he got 5 more freshmen coming in who possibly could take, 2 play the same spot. You only got 2 juniors. You want to come play right away. It's just about opportunity, man.
And that's why it's this weird nuance, and I mean, we live in a microwave society right now. Swipe right, swipe left, get whatever you want. I'm hungry. I can go order something right now.
It can be delivered to my podcast room.
Yeah, right here, right? So I get it. We're fighting that culture on top of the entitlement of kids, parents, on top of, like you said, you got to recruit earlier. So it is a very, you're balancing a lot of plates, and being a youth coach in this aspect. And especially in the basketball world. So I recruit parents, in my opinion, even like I told you, the hierarchy of how YBA works and this system works. And me in particular, I coach the YBA elite side. That's where my direct hand is. I got a little bit of hand in all of this, but that's my direct, coaching, where you're going to see me at 90% of the time, because those kids and those parents are specific to seeing the vision that I'm laying out there, right? And if you don't see the vision, if you don't vibe with it, I tell parents it's not a good fit. You can play for another YBA team, or maybe the organization itself isn't for you. But I know I have to be very specific on the type of kids and parents I get, and that's the freedom-ish I get being in AAU. High school coaches don't necessarily get that freedom, because you got to take what's at the school, right? So you got to try to hopefully find a way to encourage these kids to, want to stay with the path and go to school. Because, a lot. If I had to pinpoint a point where I saw it getting pretty out of hand at the high school level, it's when Sheldon was very dominant. That's when I kind of saw it a few years back. With Bagley was there, the Bagley brother.
Shoot, it was crazy before then.
Yeah, yeah. Like it was. That's when I want to say I really saw it. Like, because I think they had like 7 or 8 kids who all played AAU together, who all ended up like transferring there.
I was at Sooner Oaks 2017, 18, 19. Played Bagley, and then it was like, but before that, even when like Boo Nelson then was there, Ramon Alden was there. They was loaded. They was loaded, man. It's like all them kids in the area, but I was like, this is crazy, bro. You got one team with this many. It was wild, bro. But in Bagley, I think he was that second wave when it came around. When he came there, it was just like, oh, I'm going there. I'm finna just go play with him. Yeah, but he getting all the shot. He finna get the looks.
He gonna get all the looks. You just gonna be the guy passing him the ball, I guess, or cheering on the bench. But it's hard to get kids, I guess, nowadays to, and this Gen Z, and that's going to kind of circle into my last question before we get into hot takes, but might as well, like Gen Z athletes in general, like all across the board, because I've talked to lots of coaches. Like you said, you've talked to different coaches, different people like that. You know it as well as I too, JT, like Gen Z athletes, they're not us, and they don't have the mental fortitude like we did. And again, I could sound like the old head hating. I don't give a shit. Like, it's just the reality of it. They just are mentally softer, even though they have way more advantages, way more technology, way more information than any of us could have imagined to have. Like, YouTube wasn't a thing like that where I could type in ball handling drills and get a list of 10,000 videos that could teach me how to dribble a basketball. I had to figure it out. I had I remember my mom got me an old Pistol Pete VHS tape. You know what I mean? And that was
VHS.
Yeah, no, the people would listen.
We are that old.
And they go like, "What's a VHS? What the hell are they talking about?" Like,
we are that
no
old.
clue what they talking about. Like, that's what I had to look at. The first time I saw like real crafty ball handling was the old And1
mixtape, bro.
And1 mixtape.
And you're lucky if you got one of those.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Those
you
are
got
all
a pair
out.
of shoes, or
Bro.
if they, I got it from the bootleg man, or you know what I mean? Like, it's
Damn
like,
pair of jump soles if you were lucky. Like,
right.
Man, you couldn't afford them things.
Like,
bro.
that's what it ended up. That's what it was. Our ways to try to figure things out, but they got access to so much more. I don't know how. I think coaches have to adapt to the environment, but at the same time still keep their principles.
Of course.
I'm just curious on your guys' take. How do we get through to help Gen Z, not only just in the athletic space, but just to prep them for life? Because I do feel like with them having this softer mentality and our society in large being softer, that's a whole nother conversation, but I talk about that on this show. But yeah,
I'm gonna say this quote real quick, but I'm gonna let you go after this. I've heard it all the time. I see it. You'll see it. I can tell a lot about how a player plays on how he grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, yeah, man, it's tough. I'll say this: I don't envy you guys at all, because I just sit behind the mic at my home office. I get to talk to you guys.
I'm sure all your guests say the same. Or probably say it. Some of them say the same stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I always go back to this thing that they used to talk about with Tom Brady, especially as he was getting older. And it's like, man, this guy is still performing at a high level.
Oh yeah.
And I was listening to some podcasts, and they're like, one of the most amazing things about that is, the play is amazing, that he can still do it physically, but the fact that he's still able to connect. Because you think about it, he's a 40-something-year-old quarterback. Well, all these dudes that are coming in and getting drafted are young 20 guys. He's got deals. He has businesses. He's got family. These guys, they just got their first paycheck.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's like, but he's still able to find some way to connect with them, even though there's this growing distance. And even with you guys too, right? Like, we're all getting older. You guys are still coaching young kids. The kids aren't getting any older. You're just getting new kids.
Yeah.
And so you have to find new ways to connect with them on that level. And so I think, I don't know. I mean, it takes, on top of all the things you guys already mentioned about being coaches, all the time and effort that you have to put into it, I feel like the coaches that do the best, at least from the conversations I've had, are the ones who listen the most to their athletes, who are in tune with what their athletes are saying. But like you said, that doesn't change the fact that they have certain standards, certain principles. They're going to hold them accountable. they're in tune with where the culture's at. They're in tune with where everybody, social media. They just know all those things. I've seen some coaches I've had conversations with that are legends in this area that have been doing it for 30, 40 years. And they're in their 70s, but they know what's going on in the culture still. They have no business knowing.
Stay relevant,
right?
Staying relevant. They have no business. but they still do it because they care that much. Like, you know what? I don't care about any of this, but I need to care because my athletes care. And this is the world they're living in.
Them. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think, I think accountability is a huge, that's, to your point about this, group being softer. I feel like accountability is a tough one because I think people want the benefits of what accountability can bring, but they don't want the toughness that comes
with it. Yeah.
When you have to call someone out, that's being accountable. It's like, I'm calling you out because I care. Right. I think you even said on one of your podcasts recently, it's like you might bark at someone, and people may not appreciate the language you're using or the tone or the volume, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you're not doing it because you hate that kid.
Never.
A lot of times you love those kids.
It's because I love them, honestly.
And someone's got to call them out. And if they're not going to get it at home, like you said, JT, if they didn't grow up that way, well, you might be the best chance they have at hearing that message. And so, I don't know. I don't know if that really answers your question, but I think, I basically agree with what you're saying, man. I think you have to kind of be in tune with what's going on, but you have to kind of hold the line there. And if you have certain standards, even if it hurts their feelings, by you holding that standard, it's like, well, and like you said, I think it's good that you have those conversations with the families and the parents, especially the parents too, man, especially in the world that you guys are coaching, where so many parents are involved because they want their kid to get the best look. They want their kids to have the best opportunities, which is great. But I think, having that person there that's always telling them, hey, everything you do is good. Everything you do is right. You can't. Well, that's not going to. And like we talk about life lessons, that's going to cripple them. Well, their boss isn't going to say that to them.
Right, and that's like the biggest thing about you play how you live. I guess we all come from different generations, so yes, we had to fend for ourselves a lot more. Had to go to the park and just hoop. Had to sneak into 24-hour fitness. I had a membership, but all right, you go first. I'll come 2 minutes later. Yeah, we did that.
Had to do all
they
that,
have all the access, so being able to think like I need to find a way it's difficult for them because the way's paid for them. Yeah. Which as parents, anybody who has kids, you want your kids to have better. But it's like, ooh, at what extent? Like I've really laid it out for them. Well, you can't really reel that in, but then you hope through sports and somebody else's coaching. But that's a different. A parent needs to let the coach. Okay, I know they have this, but let that coach try to show them what it's like to want to get to something. Yeah. And then the parents cross over and say, no, you can't talk to. So you really don't want me to teach them how to get there. You want me to keep opening the doors for them and let them walk through. But again, at the end of the day, the life outside of these four lines or out of the gym, these walls, is not going to let them do anything. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest thing we're at right now. It's like, okay, we want to have students, our kids, our athletes to have better. However, the work ethic part, coaches are there to instill that. Yeah. Because it's competition, right? It's even if it's an individual sport, you got to get better because other guys out there. But I said, especially if you don't want to be a part of a team. I mean, if you want to be individual, do individual sport. Don't do team sports. Yeah. Anything that resolves you need a teammate, somebody else is not for you because I need you like you need me. I need you to help me get this part, or I need you to have my back. First off, I say team sports are great. It should teach teamwork, selflessness, hard work, communication, all that stuff, camaraderie, all that to be successful. In a win or loss, just doesn't. It's not everything in that because through losses you learn a ton. I remember a ton of games I lost winning coaching. All the wins, I have a lot of wins. Don't get me wrong. I don't remember those like the losses I've had. Yeah, the losses stick out. Yep. Coaching and winning, so it's like, but how do you bounce back? Do you go study more? Do you go get in the lab more? Do you train more? Do you listen more, or do you listen to as a coach? All right, I got an assistant coach who's better at this for me. Hey man, you take the lead on this. I'm not there with it like you are. Having that type of going with your self-check could, make it a lot better. So, I mean, it just thinks that this generation, they lose out on that because, again, it's such I want this result. I went and shot 500 shots. I didn't make 500. Why I ain't making it in the game? Because you missed 400 and something. Yeah, you shot them, but you didn't make that many, and that's a big thing, right? Those numbers don't lie. So if you shoot 300 quality shots and make 2-something, I'll take that. You shooting 500 and not whatever, right? It is 100. Okay, you shoot 100 shots a day. Get that percentage of a certain number, okay, you're going to see yourself improve. But if you're just shooting 100, not counting the makes or not wanting to make some, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? So it's just the purposeful minutes or days or hours you clock in is what's important too. I don't think they clock as important, the ones who don't get there. Because it's just some kids who clock them hours, you're like, oh, that's why he or she's up there because she clocking in. Quality hours, right? Right. You can't, I'm going to come in. You shot 3-4 sideways jumpers. One drill, pull up, side, step back. You're not shooting that in the game. Or if you shoot it, you're going to make that. No, that's a tough shot for a high school kid.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's the quality of time and stuff like that, man.
No, yeah, just with Gen Z, you know, it's just going to be tough. I personally think if you stick with your convictions, you know, you have your principles. You know, I call them my absolutes, whatever framework or whatever word somebody uses. I just, you know, I think you do have to stick with it. I think I try to pride myself on being a coach that has old school principles, but I teach the game the way it's played today.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, kids are going to take more shots. The game's going to be quicker. They're going to make faster reads. You know what I mean? Because they're more skilled. They're way more skilled than even I was at their age and things like that. So, you know, you have to learn to kind of. It's always adapt is always typically the key word, right? You know, there's a reason. You know, Coach K before he retired was able to stay relevant. There's a reason. Roy Williams was able to say, now of course they can recruit all the top kids, but you still have to get those kids to buy in and play and get the job done, right? And that's where you're talking about have some sort of common ground and connection with them. You know, because you could say to a degree you saw the opposite effect with LeBron when he had that young Lakers team with he had Julius Randle, he had Kyle Kuzma, he had Alonzo Ball, he had that whole young core, but LeBron couldn't connect with them.
He needed the vets.
He needed the vet because he couldn't connect with them, and obviously they all separate. But imagine if that core stuck together. How good that group would have been. You know what I mean? So you actually, to a degree, did see the opposite effect where, like you said, where Tom Brady, you saw how he could still kind of get through those guys. And it's just about the understanding and the common ground. Yep. But one more question before we move to hot takes. Parents. Always want to have that subject of parents. In all sports, parents seem to be a very difficult thing. Like they could be great, or they can, you know, destroy everything. There's an analogy I've heard a coach say that always stuck with me. He said most high level teams don't explode, they implode. You know, he said high level teams, no matter what the sport, they don't explode, they implode. He said because there's parents upset at this kid, or this kid's getting playing time, and they're talking on the car ride about, you know, screw that kid, fuck that kid. You deserve more playing time to him. So guess what? That kid is now carrying that into the game with his teammate, and then you wondering why all of a sudden they're butting heads. And, you know, it's always, man, parents can either make this a great experience or just make it like total hell for you. So I'm just curious on your guys' take with that or outlook on that when it comes to parents, and, you know, how they should maybe just let us do our jobs as coaches.
Man, I mean, experience for me, bro. I've been on both sides of that thing. No bullshit. Keep it way 100. Good, bad. Keep it real, bro. I had come from my neck. Like, honestly, and it's like, it was never anything intentional on me. I may have either made wrong decisions, or, you know, just keep it honest, wrong coaching moves, or just didn't do something that way, or still learning as a coach.
That's okay.
But see, I think that's the thing that they might have to take in consideration. Like, it doesn't matter. Some coaches who coach for 1 year or 20 years are still learning, or based upon roster each year different, they may have to adjust or make decisions according to that. So yeah, if it doesn't go their way, or we've always won before you got here, but I don't have the same players y'all had before I got here. Yeah. Right. Or, and anybody tells you, like, new coaches really they need about a 2 to 3 year window to put a foundation in place, get kids to buy in, get the ones who don't want to be there out, or that before you start to build on that. And I just know off experiences, bro, from that is the thing that people don't give you that time frame because they want that quick. Oh, you're supposed to be good now. My son are better than that, but you come to practice and watch your kid practice. Do they get extra shots up, whatever? Do they play do they push themselves in an environment to where they're not comfortable? Because the game, when it starts, is not a comfortable thing. I can only do so much also based upon my personnel in practice, right? If I don't have D1 athlete kids to practice and we go play even high level JUCO whatever kids in games, my team's probably going to struggle because I just can't put them in the atmosphere during the school year because I can't have outside guys come in and practice against them to make them better. I can try to put 6 on 5. Even years growing up as a head coach, assistant coach, I put 7 kids on the court to try to implement that pressure defensively if we're getting pressed a lot and not used to it. So I I think just the unknown appearance of what coaches have to go through decision-wise stuff makes it tough because they don't see that. Or if they say I've coached this or I've played that, I understand that you did in your time, but these kids are your student, your kids are different.
Very different.
And I'm still I'm still green in certain aspects or still learning, but also I'm trying. They're not getting what they want. Some, again, witness. Some got rewarded early for it. Some may not. They've sat at the bench and waited their time and then got rewarded late for it. It's an adjustment or a daily process with the coach day in and day out about players, how they should be playing, unless they're the ones that's always getting what they want. But sometimes it's even situations where I've been guilty. The hardest worker probably didn't get all the playing time, but there's a reason before that. They may be the hardest worker, but they're at 5'9". Or 5'7", and I need a guard
and that's a
or
factor.
bigger, or I may need if they're, you know what I mean. And it's a lot that goes into it, but they see just their kid.
Yeah.
And that's the part. Can you separate the two as a parent, or just have a cordial conversation with the coach on what should my student athlete do to do better? Oh, maybe do more homework. It maybe do more stuff like that. So man, again, like I said, I've learned the experiences, man, like just failed or success, and been open to where I've learned so much to where, you know what, like I said, it's made me a better coach for sure, but also it's made me keep my priorities in order too, though. Like, I'm going to keep my priorities how they are. So if you can't get in line with that, then yes, you can leave. But also, I've been blessed to coach kids who just want to play the game of basketball, and they're gonna sacrifice themselves for it. They're gonna try, and they're gonna do it wholeheartedly to where, you know what, look, hopefully a parent should see, because some kids, like you said, the numbers were shown before, are just lucky to be on a team. Mm-hmm. Or if you try to go to one of these big schools, you're gonna get cut.
Yep.
Because you're not that. But maybe some kids I had, okay, you're here, let's just work. Let's work. Let our proof be in the work, and hopefully you improve a little bit. That's all I want to say. But if you have fun, be good academics, graduate high school, whatever it is, and go on to be successful, right? Would I want to make a playoff run every year? Hell yeah. But I'm not deep like that. Or I may have made some wrong choices where we lose a game. Or you may have missed a free throw, but it's not just your fault. I'm not blaming you. You're not blaming me. We went through this journey together. At the end of the day, yes, those losses are going to hurt us, but at the end of the day, you're like, you know what? I enjoyed that process. I wouldn't change it for the world. I would only want to do better, and that's it. But as a parent, I don't know if they see that enough, right? You know what I mean? Because it's so much other stuff going behind the scenes with coaches or promises made, and that's the thing too, right? That can mess it up. If you promise a kid this, that, and other, they're going to hold you to that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's, you know what I mean? That's why that's the thing where it's at right now with the parents, man. It's just they want to see their students succeed, but at what extent? At the extent of the other kids losing? Like, that's the tough part.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I've always, so I'm in a weird position, man, because obviously I talk to coaches, I talk to athletes and stuff like that. So I hear from their perspective the parent thing. I'm also married to a high school teacher.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
She's
yeah.
also, I also hear
I'm
stories.
sure she tells you stories.
Yeah, she gets some emails.
Right.
And it's never anything about that she's done, but it's, you know, why is my kid not doing it? Very similar,
Yeah.
right? Why is my kid, you know, failing this class? It's like, well, your kid hasn't shown up for the last 5 classes. It's stuff like that. It's like, well, I didn't realize that. Well, yeah, exactly. So, you know, this is more of a home issue than a school issue. Like, you got to figure out what's going on at home and figure that stuff out. So I see it from a couple different perspectives, and it's tough. And, you know, the crazy thing is, I think some people have good intentions. I think they want the best of their kid. Mm-hmm. If I'm honest, though, I do feel like, and I'm sure you guys have seen this a ton, especially in the world that you guys coach, I think there's some people, and they would never admit this, and I don't think they're even aware of it, but I think there's this weird self-validation thing. Yeah. And if you're real, the kid is just a pawn.
Yeah.
Like, it's a chess
I'm
piece
being
you
real.
go around.
You're being honest. That's
and it's
true.
this weird self-validation thing where you want your kid to succeed because I think it reflects on you. And I'm sure the same can be said for coaches. Like we talked about earlier, a lot of these programs that aren't willing to work together here in Sacramento, it's because there's some gatekeeping. People aren't willing to work together, and they want to say, hey, this is my guy. He came from my program. Yeah. Again, you're not looking out for the kid. You're, again, using him as a chess piece to validate your program. And so I think some of that happens. And when that happens, you start sending all these messages, hey, this kid sucks. He's getting more playing time than you. And then, like you said, it starts creating a weird divide within the program. I actually had a JV coach, one of my favorite coaches ever. I played baseball for. Incredible. He's coached JV forever. Yeah. And so many times people are like, man, like, why have you never pursued a varsity
coach?
He's like, the politics and the parents
buddy.
that come at that level. He's like, I love the game of baseball. That's what I do. I love coaching kids. I love the game of baseball. I do not love that other stuff.
It used to be at its purest form for a while, and that's not there anymore. And that's the tough part. It used to be like we wanted to play because we wanted to play any sport. I love to compete. Yep. I love meeting friends out here, and I love to win. Yes, we lost, but I love that. And now that's the part that's tough. It's not the pure form on pretty much even grassroots anymore. It's not pure form because people are trying to win at whatever level to get ahead or get a view or get a shoe deal for your team. So it's not like just for the game. it was a point in time where all our lives we played our sports for free. As far as like we weren't getting incentivized for it. That's the part I think that's changed the most when incentives start coming into it. Oh, everybody gotta get a trophy. Hell no, we didn't get a trophy. You lost. All right.
That participation.
Oh my god,
shit.
you got a medal. Like medals are so cheap now. You can go create Amazon. I can buy a 10-pack of medals.
Yeah.
And like I was like, what? Everybody get medals. And it started to just get. Oh, I want one of those. Or I want. You get a T-shirt. Nah, y'all didn't win.
8th place ribbons and shit,
Bro.
man.
Like it's okay to lose, but that's the character,
man.
right? You have to learn how to lose to even value winning more. You know what I mean? And that's why I think that's what's changed so much, man.
Well, and it's supposed to motivate you, right? Like, I was talking to someone about that the other day. Like, if you're trying to find your passion or the thing you're strong in, right? Mm-hmm. If you try something and say, like, you try cooking, right? And you never tried cooking before, you try that, and you try a recipe and it sucks. And you're like, I think I'm good. I want to try this again. Well, that's probably not a passion of yours, right? Because you quit way too easy. Right. But if it's something you're truly passionate about,
you're going to go at it again.
You're going to fail. It's like, you can't wait to get on the – I mean, we're all competitors. I've had games where I was pitching, and I got lit up. I didn't sit there thinking like, I suck. I don't want to do this ever again. I'm like, when do I pitch next?
Yes.
When do I get to compete next? Because I got to get this out of my mind, because until that next game, this is all I'm going to be thinking about.
Especially if you love it, though, man.
Especially if you love it. And so, you know, so I think, you know, the parent thing is tough. Did you guys see that clip? I forgot. I wish I could remember what school it was for, but there was a press conference, and there was a coach, and I think he was a freshman. And this coach was like, hey, this dude is one of the most talented kids in our area, the state, whatever he said. He said, but he hasn't played a minute on my basketball team. And then the coach started crying. He's like, his parents haven't bugged me. They haven't been emailing me. They haven't been texting me. They haven't been calling me. He hasn't said a word. He's just been putting the work in. This coach is, I mean, literally on this platform crying.
That's crazy.
Because he's like, this is what it should be like.
Yeah.
He's like, he
100%.
knows that he could play on any other team, but he's here to put in the work. Wow. He'll get a chance to play, but he's a freshman. And I'm like, I've never seen a coach.
That's rare.
That is very rare.
Oh, that's very rare. Like you talked about just competing, like
the
passion, right? I mean, if you, especially if it's a sport that you feel passionate about. Like, I mean, since I've gotten older, I've tried golf. Threw that shit away. I'm done. my boys play a lot. I can't even hit the fucking driver. I can chip a little bit. I can putt. I said, this is not a sport for me. Right. I'm done. So I was like, all right. But basketball stuff, I'll still gotta try. I'll still try to learn stuff. But golf, I said, yeah, okay, I'm cool. I can live with that.
Right.
But the basketball part, I'm like, no, I'm a study. Or I'm watching more film. Or I'm applying to this email. Say, give out free plays. Oh, I'll take free plays all day. Let me learn, you know what I'm saying, coaches, timeout, whatever, they got stuff. I'm like, oh, they seeing free stuff? Okay, cool. But especially if something you say you love to do, you shouldn't be easily wavered through it. But it's a fact that if it was always laid out for you, you're not going to be able to maneuver that well, right? Feeding for yourself, right? I can show you where to go, but I can't feed you. Yeah. And that's what some kids now, like, oh, just give it, nah. You know, so I think that's where we're at with that too, man.
Yeah, so it was just crazy, man. Like the kid, like I said, the kid was just sitting there.
That's rare, man.
And he's like, you could just tell he was passionate because like he's, you know, he could go somewhere else and play anywhere.
Yeah.
And play against juniors, seniors, and be one of the best. But he's like, I'm going to learn here. And then, like I said, the main thing was the coach was so moved that the parents and the family wasn't just all in his business the whole time because the kid wasn't playing.
I'm assuming they see the
tears.
The bigger, they see the bigger picture.
That's
you know what I mean?
100%. I'm like, so just the parents thing, man. It's tough. Like I said, I feel for you guys because like, you can't do your job without interacting with the parents.
Of
like,
course not.
You can't do it.
That'd be too much like right, as they say.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's part of the territory. But
shout out to the parents who do that though.
Yes.
From a coach,
very
too,
appreciate it
because that is a great feeling too when you entrust the coach with that, or just you can have those conversations respectfully.
Sure.
Which is and still let coaches do their job or at least try their best because our goal is that we're trying as well as we can. You know what I mean? So shout out to those parents who do that as well and have conversations respectfully, but or just sometimes sit back and just say, hey, all right, thanks, coach, appreciate you. Like, really?
Yeah.
Or always helpful volunteering because coaches always need volunteer parents who volunteer their time, who want to come support, who want to help give time because shout out to you guys too because that support is needed, but also if you can take some off a coach's shoulder, that's dope. And assistant coaches as well, man, because, I mean, to have support system around us is A1, especially ones who are loyal and are really locked into the same, lock and key with you as a head coach or assistant coach, whatever you may be. That helps a lot, man. I mean, no lie, like having those guys or women. But I had a few assistant coaches, me being the head coach, my sister even spent time, she coached years, my boys I play ball with, coaches now, like, they've been there through good, bad, or ugly, man, and just stuck it out because I think we're aligned. And, and that makes it better. Look behind, look over your shoulder and say, okay, I got some solid ones with me, support system. Because I can tell you from just experience, mental health, I talked to them with yours too. I mean, I've had some dark days in it. Like, no lie, early mornings waking up, like, what am I doing? Questioning myself. Yeah. Like, literally, I mean, go through therapy. with that aspect. Real talk, like just having to make sure, nah, man, okay, I know my foundation. I can do this. I had to adjust, you know what I mean? But I've been there, you know what I mean? It gets tough, you know, because nobody wants to take losses like that or lose or not make everybody happy or not play all our kids, but you can't play all 12 kids. You can't play all 9 kids.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? But the people who support coaches and really look out for them as well, shout out to you too, because, I mean, it's like that makes our job a little bit easier or makes them, you know, want to come back to it or make sure we can go home and detach and regroup the next day because every day is different. So, you know what I mean? I think that should be highlighted as well too, man, not just the ones that are, you know, come after our heads or kind of it's some people out there who are really supportive and, you know, admin staff are really supportive of what we're doing and stuff like that too. So shout out to you guys as well.
Nah, the good parents always appreciate it. Let me get into my hot takes. So, got a couple quick things to talk about hot takes in sports news. Obviously, NBA is not going on right now, so not much going on that front other than trades and people getting into training camps and stuff. So let's talk about stuff in the recent. But before we talk about the recent stuff, this is something I always do on my show. You got to give me your top 5 all time.
Oh my God!
You don't have to get NBA. You don't have to give me. You don't have to do an order. You don't have to give me. It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be position. It can be. You got 5 centers. I don't care. But you got to give me your top 5 all time, and your top 5 actively playing now.
I'm gonna go all time. Just me, man. I guess, and I guess the bad thing about this is we've been through 3 generations of hoop.
Yeah,
I've been hoop junkie, man. But let me just, and I'm gonna just do it best I can. Just okay, I gotta go, man. Steph, best shooter ever.
Yep.
I gotta go Shaq.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Most dominant.
I grew up on Mike. I gotta go Mitch Richmond, my favorite player ever.
Okay.
The Rock, like real Mitch Richmond fan when I was little, number 2 jersey, everything. And number 5 for me, I gotta go Bron.
Okay.
I gotta go Bron, man. That's my top 5 just overall right now as far as my aspect, just overall basketball wise. And I'm sure I could go on and on, but that 5 for me, I say right there. Current 5 though.
Current 5
that
are playing.
And the cool part about it is Steph gonna be on both lists because
Nice.
he's currently still putting up crazy numbers.
Yep.
And out of respect for the game, Bron is them 2 right now is still 2 of the coldest out. Who I'm liking right now, also just top 5 I feel right now. Man, it's tough for me because I'm still like these new cats is coming.
Like,
but I think they got to give a little more. I want to see some more. I want to see some more history resume, right?
Right.
But I will say Steph, Bron, Giannis when healthy.
Okay. What about KD? Or Kyrie?
Top 5. I'm gonna definitely say I got to give respect to the Joker.
Okay.
A walking triple double is crazy.
3-time
And then
MVP.
I don't know about MVP though. 3 times that was kind of politics. And I will say though, just after watching KD came off the soreness of the calf or Achilles to come and have that impact in the USA games, reassert himself yet again. Like, he is really him at 7 foot whatever. Like, bro, it's just tough to guard, man. And so I respect the game. Yeah, and his flow on the court is so 5-6 foot guardish at a 7 foot is crazy. So yeah, I was like say Steph, Bron, Giannis when healthy, Jokic, and KD currently for me.
So for you got you watch the NBA enough?
No, not enough at all. In fact, I know for a fact my brother is watching this right now. He's like, he has no idea what he's gonna say.
That's so
hilarious.
Come on. I'll say this though. I know, like talk about impact.
Yeah.
Like obviously Jordan. Was,
okay, I was
huge.
like you're of all time.
And even not being the biggest hoop fan in the world, like that for me, that was like can't miss.
Generational, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's like for me with Steph. Like I love watching that dude play.
It's hard to dislike Steph.
And even like I'll say this, even with me not understanding the game the way you guys understand the game, when I watch him play, I'm like, I understand that you're watching something special.
Yeah.
And so so I couldn't even adequately answer that question. So I'm not gonna say.
But those answers are good, still good answers.
I'm gonna agree with you guys. Can't do it. You know what? It's funny though. My parents probably hated this. So when I was in elementary school, and it's not my favorite player, and there's obviously a lot of issues with this specific dude. But when I was growing up, I had like this NBA book, right? And it just had it was like this giant book that had all these dudes in it at the time. It was like the late 90s.
Yeah.
And it came with a life-size Karl Malone poster.
Okay. All right.
I put it in my room.
Yeah.
It's a 7-foot poster.
Yeah,
It like bent at the top. And my mom's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't care the book. I had to put it up." So obviously there's some stuff going on.
Oh, he's a controversial.
There's
Yeah, I
some
mean,
stuff with Karl
hoop wise, yeah, Karl Malone's still the man.
But we're keeping it.
But lifetime, his
Off
life,
the court, we had some
But yeah,
issues.
the basketball, keep it like we're doing basketball based only in the lines. Respect, give respect where it's due. Like that dude
100%.
was like, come on, man, we never seen nothing like that, bro.
A monster. I remember I wasn't a big wrestling dude either, but I remember watching
We went to
Right.
wrestling. I was
He went to Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Dennis know how to Dennis know how to market himself.
sure.
That's for sure.
For sure.
No, okay. Well then, so my first part of hot takes after that part. So I don't know if you guys have seen. I'm sure you've seen JT, but you know the WNBA's gotten really popular.
Yeah,
right.
Buzzing.
And that's great to see as a basketball junkie myself, and I support the WNBA and women's basketball. And it's kind of for me, and it's always been that way for me, and I think a lot of basketball purists, you know. But now it's obviously due to Caitlin Clark. It's become ultra popular right now, especially in the midst of even football season. People are still watching the WNBA
Playoff season.
Yeah,
for them right now.
They're still watching it, which is great. You know, they're getting they got charter planes now. You know, revenues kicking in. You know, record number attendance. Obviously, mainly at her games, but even overall, you could still see it happen
Across the league,
across the
though.
board.
Yeah.
But in most recent news, there's been a lot of haters for Caitlin Clark, and I would be remiss to not talk about that on this show. Considering this is still at its foundation and core a basketball show. You know, I think it's stupid as hell. I'm just gonna put it out there. That's just how I am. I think it's dumb as hell. If you can look at her body of work and hate on it, you know what I'm saying? And of course, you can go from and not to sound too long-winded, but you can go from the low-hanging fruit. And of course, people could say, well, they're hating on her, or some people hate that because she's white and she's doing this, that's why she's getting all the endorsement deals and all this. She's the great white hope that everyone's attaching it to. Could that be it? Sure. Let's just keep it a buck. Could that be it? Sure. But again, that's low-hanging fruit to me. I would like to think it's more nuanced than just she's a white woman that's going out there playing good at basketball, right? Like, that's just, I don't know, it's just too low for me. I think overall most basketball fans just like the way she plays the game because it's very reminiscent of when Steph Curry found his groove and was doing what he was doing, and especially like that year where he got unanimous MVP. I parallel it to that. Like, Steph was just unbelievable that year in terms of the shots he was making, his ability, his flow on the court. That's when you got some of those highlights that when he made Chris Paul fall and he stepped on his foot. To be fair, he stepped on his foot, but he's doing dribble past the triple teams and doing the three at the top, and Steve Kerr jumps up with his hands up and then sits back down laughing. Like, you get those moments from his unanimous MVP year. I think Caitlin has built that this season for her as a rookie. You know what I mean? And I think just quite honestly, some of the old school hoopers and some of the women in that league are just flat out jealous of it. And again, it's just my opinion from the outside looking in. Of course, I'm always down to hear different people's opinions, but I just think it's stupid. I think the league has to do right by this situation, because I'm someone who would like to see women's basketball thrive. I just do, because they're so limited once they're done with college basketball. They don't have, they have overseas and stuff, and some make a great living out there, but I would like to see more spots open up
in the States, right?
For in the States. Yeah. You have in the Bay, they're starting a women's team, the Golden State Valkyries. Yeah. I would love to see a Sacramento team, women's basketball team come back like the Monarchs.
They did win a championship.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to see, all that come back. But yeah, I think that the Caitlin Clark hate's got to stop. Just let that woman live and let her do her thing. And Cheryl Swoops, is the biggest one that's everyone's zeroing in on. I'm not gonna. She's a basketball legend. Not gonna hate on her. But yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I hear some of her takes, and it's like, come on, man. Like just give her flowers a little bit.
You want that empathy, right?
Yeah.
But also you want to realize a generational talent when you see one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the timing couldn't have been better.
Yeah.
Via social media, marketing, and business for the W though, for her to come along.
Yeah.
Because again, who's to say if nobody with that hype out of college comes, or as fast as maybe needed right now? Like, okay, you got Juju up next, probably, right? Or the other. Actually, Juju got 2 more years left.
Yeah.
The Connecticut young lady, but her hype is not the same as Caitlin's.
Right.
Paige. It's not the same. So that means not the same endorsements, not the same ticket sales. It was perfect timing for what. And her and Angel Reese, yes, it's a business too. To put them two against each other, marketing wise, again, chasing clicks, right? Bait. It was the best clickbait you could do, and they happened to play each other. Oh, even better. Then they came out the same year, even better.
Well, keep in mind that's what saved the NBA when Larry Bird and Magic Johnson came out.
Exactly.
And of course they played the low hanging fruit, the race card, whatever you want to call it. But yeah,
they could be. I don't know if they end up being associate or cool friends out of that.
Yeah,
However, but for
friends.
marketing purposes, as in the world we live in right now, it worked financially because it got you more money, your business more numbers, and which also helps you do well. Okay, well, I'm getting paid more. Appreciate you. Thank you for what you're doing for us. As long as she did it, and to me, like I've watched enough of the games, and just I haven't seen enough of her interviews personally though to kind of visually or hear how she took it, but I didn't hear her dogging out a lot of women. But then I just saw it in her play though, right? She's been a competitor. Her team, yes, got better. She got put on the USA team, I think so, based on her numbers. But did she take the rest or the time to get in the gym more and get better and better her team? They did, which got them in the playoffs now, the first time in over 10 years, I believe. So it worked out for her team, but also it's helping ratings, publicity, ticket sales. A lot of the young girls, the Generation X's now, whatever Z's, whatever they're in, they want to be like Caitlin and Angel Reese now and Juju.
Yeah.
The old heads in the WNBA, they really don't know you guys. And I will say this, person's podcast he made, I'm not going to shout his podcast out, but he gets enough shine, but he had a good value put on this one. He said, they should really let women go after 1 year too. It's like, even though their body, but just like guys, the guys' bodies aren't ready to go after 1 year. However, could you see, just imagine if Juju was in the W right now.
Yeah.
Juju, Angel, and Caitlin, them numbers would be crazy. Because Juju's hype right now, especially for putting California hoop on the map, is out of this is crazy. If she would have went this last year too, the numbers would be even better. Because everybody's buying Caitlin, Angel, and Juju jerseys. They're not buying Diana Taurasi jerseys no more. Nah. That's done. They're not buying Tina Charles. They're not buying Dwana Bonner jerseys no more.
Or Brittany Griner.
They're not buying those. It's the new wave right now. So right now, they're just like, you know what, man, we might want to rethink this. Because there's going to be another freshman young lady coming in college who's going to be super dope. They're going to, or who does like Kate, she's going to shoot threes or she's going to shoot whatever. She can handle the ball crazy, but we got to make her stay 4 years of college. By that time, her stock could drop, man. So I just think that they just got to be accepting, thankful of it, and really, I think you really got to pour gasoline on that thing while it's hot.
Yeah.
So you can really spread out and maximize it, get these expansion teams rolling and stuff like that, keep the hype, because when momentum is high, you want to ride that wave, right? Yeah. You know, so I think they do that. But also, I've been watching playoffs, and it's a dope vibe, right? Like, she's 4th in MVP voting, or 5th, whatever it was, like, as a rookie. Her numbers don't lie.
She's
like,
averaging 20 points.
Crazy.
She leads the league in assists. She has like 9 assists,
steals
8,
a game.
9 assists, steals, like all of it. Yeah.
So I just want to see it keep going, but also doing it. But also, I guess, I know in the world we live in, without controversy, it ain't gonna get the attention that it would get, because if they just respect, oh yeah, good job, it wouldn't be as much buzz.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't there something today? They posted the ticket prices for if you bought a ticket for every game of the playoffs last year, it was like $130
for every game, easy
for every game for the entire series. Every series.
That's it.
The first Fever game, I think the average ticket price was $130
per game,
per ticket.
Levels to it, right?
Yeah,
right.
Which is insane. But again, man, like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm the biggest hoops guy ever, but I always look at it like if she's captured my attention as a guy who's a baseball and football guy. that says something about how special
Facts.
what she's doing is. And so I look at that. My wife's like, "Oh, is the Fever game on?" Like I've known her forever. We've never once said like, "Hey, when's the WNBA?"
Right.
But it's like, oh yeah, like we flipped. I mean, same like you guys were saying, it's the football season's going right now. We were watching Sunday football yesterday. We flipped over to the
Playoffs.
game and checked it out because we wanted to see what was going on. And so, and again, going back to the start of this conversation, the social media aspect, like you know, I know it's easy to say, but like I don't think people realize the amount of scrutiny, the amount of tension that, and she's young.
Yes.
She's
Still
a kid.
young.
She's a kid.
Yes.
And so the amount of attention, scrutiny she gets all the time.
She's handled it extremely well.
It's
considering her position.
impressed
I
me.
think so, yeah.
And then obviously watching her do her thing. It's all backed up by the way she plays. But
yeah, that's the biggest thing too. She's still produced out of all this. Like I
Yeah.
said, her mental toughness,
toughness, right?
fortitude. Whoever, shout out to her family, mom, dad, pops, her overcoming that or being able to deal with that stuff and still give out in the best league for the women there is.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that should be applauded, man. That is super dope, man. And shout out to her. And she's not done. She's just getting started.
Right.
That's the crazy part about it.
Right.
It's scary hours, man, for a lot of people for a while dealing with her, man.
real, man.
She's tough.
Well, you know what's weird to me? Let me ask you because we've said a couple times on this podcast that you'll say it, right? You'll say your opinion. You'll be blunt.
I will.
When you talk about the people that are, especially the talking heads, right? Sports Center, ESPN, all these different shows, and you know, not to call anybody specific out, but it's clear they have an issue with her. But I've always felt it's weird when it's clear to everybody they have an issue, but they're like they'll say no, she's great, she does this, but you know I have an issue with this, and this. Like they never they come out and say it. Like I've never understood that. Like it would almost in a weird way it'd be refreshing if someone's like, I just hate her.
Yeah, no doubt. Like,
I'm not gonna try to hide it. Like I
even
can't
on
stand her.
they
Pick your
podcast,
side.
Yeah, like
That's what I'm saying. You gotta pick your side because like this back and forth is like, well, I don't know why we're pretending because everybody knows that you have some kind of issue. If you have an issue, just say it.
it's we try to live in this nuances because this is how bad that this whole Cheryl Swoops, Caitlin Clark thing has gotten. Because I've done my own research of it. I'm just, you know, I'm gonna try to be as thorough as I can when I see these type of things. So Cheryl Swoops like released on Twitter some DMs between her and Caitlin, and her basically saying to Caitlin, "Oh, you know, I'm a big supporter of you. Like, I love what you're doing for the league." And Caitlin, of course, responded and said, "No, it's all good. I appreciate it. I know, you know, you're just saying your opinion. You're doing your job. This is my thing." And I think some people try to ignore this in our society nowadays. Two things can exist at the same time. You can not like this person. You cannot like them, the way they're hooping and the things they're doing, and still to their face or, you know, to a degree, send a DM and say, "No, I support you. I love what you're doing," and all this. We really try to act like this weird, like humans are now ideologues. We're either one thing or the other. That's not the human experience. We are a multitude of things. We are a big in-between gray area species. Like, that's just what we are. You know what I mean? And so this idea that 2 to 3 to 4 things can't exist at the same time is so crazy to me. It's like I can only speak on, like, especially my experience in the AAU world. I know there are AAU directors and coaches and even trainers who don't like YBA. They don't like me. They don't like what I do. Like, there's people that hate some of the shit I say on the podcast. Like, how people higher ups and, you know, down, if you want to say at the ground level, right? Because I talk about things that most people don't talk about in this space, right? It's just kind of unspoken rules. But those same people, if they see me in person, will say hi to me. Mm-hmm. You know, they'll dab me up like, "Oh, what's up, Chris? How's everything going?" They'll ask me to bring YBA teams to their tournaments. They'll ask me to bring kids to their camps, right? And I know through backdoor conversations they don't like me. So it's like, I know, but again, I don't judge them. I don't think they're one way or the other. I just think you're human, and both things can exist at the same time. You can dislike me, but still understand that because I'm doing something correct in the business of basketball, you want to work with me.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of these ESPN commentators and people in those positions, that they try to always they try to toe that line of, I want to be likable, but I'm gonna do a lot of dry hating.
Sure.
That's what I call it. They do a lot of fucking dry hating.
Hey, what gets me though, no disrespect. Stop. As soon as you say that, I don't mean you're gonna say something disrespectful.
Yeah.
I don't mean no disrespect. No, just
Yeah.
say what your feel or your take is, I guess, and then if you stand on that, or you know what I'm saying, but I don't mean it because I don't mean no hate. No, I'm not hating and all. Yes, you're hating.
You're hating. Absolutely.
You're setting it up to hate and like that. Just say what you say. Like just go ahead and say it and rock with it.
And it's okay. Like
your thought is your thought.
There's going to be
opinion.
people in this world. I mean, what is it? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one, right? And that's okay. Like look, man. I know I've said multiple times on this show. I say if anybody wants to sit down on this couch and debate me on my X's and O's or debate me on a belief, you're more than welcome to. I don't think, man, especially as men, like you could sit down and have a disagreement and walk away from it. You know what I mean?
That's society, you know. And that's the thing. That's why some people don't reach where they should go, or some programs or some visions they have, because they just can't have a conversation and agree to disagree. Or because after you talk, though, even through our interviews, I learned a lot about my guest that I thought I knew or didn't know just by interviewing. I go, damn, I know a lot more. I feel even more somewhat connected or more knowledgeable. I'm like, I've learned from you. Good, bad, or ugly. I've learned, you know, how you feel about certain things, so I know how to move with you, or vice versa. I know what you're passionate about through a conversation. We don't even want to have a conversation because my way is the only way. It's not that.
Nah.
It's not that. And I think that's half the battle with the trainers in town, all that stuff like that, is because they're stuck in that way, instead of saying, you know what, let me just listen to what you got to say.
Yeah.
What are your philosophies? How do you do things? How does that work for you? Oh, really? What strokes do you have? Then you go, oh, wait, we got that both in common.
Yeah.
Damn, bro, how do you deal with that too? Now we can have some commonalities. Now we can begin to help each other, help our programs, or help these kids. Or I can say, you know what, bro, if I'm struggling, I'm going to send them to you.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get to them.
Right.
He ain't listening to me in our workouts.
Right.
You have at it. Cool.
That takes a certain level. Sorry, not to
go ahead.
That takes a certain level of confidence, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you talk about the ego and all that with some of these coaches that aren't willing to do that. I think deep down it is a confidence thing, because it's like if too many kids start going to that program, if I send too many, are guys going to stop coming to me? It's like, if you're a confident coach, if you know what you know, and you know that you're good at what you do, you should be able to send as many people as you want to another coach who might connect with them better. You know, like we said, this Gen Z thing. Like, the bottom line is there's a certain coach that may not vibe with your coach's style.
100%.
And that's okay, because like you said, hey, there's another coach across town that will. And there's another guy waiting to fill that kid's spot. If they don't. So, but again, it's you know, I think everybody they like this idea of, hey, we can all sit down and have this conversation and agree to disagree. I think the amount of people that can actually do it
is limited.
You're right.
Very slim.
Yeah.
It's which is a bummer, because like you said, that's how it should be. And I think the AAU basketball world, the community here in Sacramento, I think everybody would benefit from that. Everything you guys have said, like, if you really wanted to put Sac on the map, like some of these other cities, it's going to kind of take that effort. But at the same time, it's going to take everybody's ego put to the side.
Yep.
You got to be confident in what you're doing, and then be willing to have that conversation. But it's even as grown men. That's a tough thing. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
It's wild.
You have to be in tune with yourself, oneself, your inner chi, right?
Nah, man. Like, yeah, that's where I think it stems from, man. It's just, you know, people don't. They just, everybody. I think nowadays everybody wants to be liked, and I'm like, I've been, and I'm sure you guys agree. I'm okay with being disliked. Like, you know, everybody ain't gonna like me. And that's okay. Like, you know what I mean? I don't, you know, like, as long as my kids love me and I get along with my baby mamas, that's about it. And I take care of my family. Like, ultimately, that's, you know what I mean? And I can put food on the table and work my job. That's all I mainly care about, man. But in terms of making sure everybody likes me, that's just never been a thing that I worry about. I don't want people to dislike me. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't walk around like, oh, everybody hate me. Nah, I am who I am. And it's like, I hope I come across as respectful and approachable to everybody, because I really do try to be respectful to everyone. But again, I think that's unfortunately where we're at when it comes to the people that are on the higher end of like this media space, the Stephen A. Smiths, the Skip Baylesses, or whatever. Well, everybody hates Skip Bayless at this point, but I ain't heard from Skip. I know, man. I heard from him in a minute. But it's like, you know, that's, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Like, I think they don't want to be disliked, but they're gonna do a lot of that dry hating stuff. That's why I've wrote a podcast I respect, and shout out to him, because he did a comment under a reel that I shared was Gilbert Arenas.
Really?
Yeah, he it was a reel I was talking about with Seals, Bernard Seals, that one where I said we were talking about simple drills, pay the bills, or whatever.
For sure.
He actually commented under that and just was like, you know, he was like, hey man, he put fire emojis and then he commented something else. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Yeah. But it was just cool to just have that even small level of acknowledgement, like, because I don't always agree with Gilbert Arenas. He says some wild shit, but if you listen to his show, he definitely says some wild shit. But I will give him credit; he does speak his mind.
Yeah, and he stand on what he say.
Yeah, and he will.
Hey, now that is a show I would love for us to go on.
All right.
I'm like, y'all got y'all pro level stuff. I got it. Y'all got no grassroots, all that stuff head level. But just to have a conversation with them dudes back and forth, I would love to go on there. Like, let's just talk back and forth, bro. All them dudes be on there wilding out. They be giving Nate a shot. All them dudes. I'm like, okay, now get some grassroots people who are still
man,
at the bottom level. Too,
I would love to sit down on one of the couches. I'm gonna debate the hell out of them. Yeah. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah, I love that. That'd be fire. Fire. It gets tension. It gets tight on that show.
No, well, but yeah, that's I guess my take on that. On my other hot takes that I want to talk about is this guy's just funny. I just got to talk about how crazy this shit is. The P. Diddy going to jail.
Man. Here you go.
I'm sorry, man. This story is just getting wilder and wilder, bro. Like, I don't. I mean, Cat Williams must be a prophet because he was talking about all this shit at Sharp Show, talking about. He said everyone going to jail and everybody getting caught, bro. I don't know. How far this is gonna go, but this ain't even allegedly. I ain't even worried about saying allegedly because, like, dude, the FBI are investigating this dude. He's screwed.
But I don't want to go. I'm not even going to that part. But I just say for us as a culture, and I'm keeping myself right. I'm a music junkie, bro. Like. I work with kids, read around, like, regardless of stuff going on, all that stuff going on. It just, for me, just personally, it just sucks to see people in my culture be doing these things.
For real.
The numbers are so crazy as far as who could be involved, whatever, at the expense of other people.
Yeah.
And to either push themselves up, elevate themselves, or make that dollar. Because now, again, via social media platform, it can be exposed across the world, but a million times over.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do we, and just keep it real, as a people, if you're really like, and the one thing that sucks for me is people make the memes and jokes about it. I don't think any of that is funny to joke about.
Yeah.
All the way around, because it's somebody's daughter, somebody's son, whatever it is, who's been affected by it. And it's like, man, why do we make so many jokes of certain things that
you think you think that's just people's way of kind of processing how serious this is, like using comedy to process.
And that's the thing, though. But I don't find that funny, though, because again, like, I mean, I've worked with students. I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. I'm like, somebody's hurt. Somebody got hurt.
Yeah,
somebody's got hurt. So the memes you post could be their son, daughter could have been at that party or been effective, or the young lady who was physically assaulted. Like, I don't like, that's not funny to me, and it's like, it sucks that you can't brush under, you can't sweep under the rug.
No doubt.
Right? You know what I mean? As far as that part goes, because obviously it's a big scale, but also for him now, you got yourself involved with other things or bigger people who are bigger, like FBI is bigger than you. Like, there's only one ruler of the world. Depending on what your race, religion, or whatever it is, like that, you're not bigger than that person.
Yeah.
So somebody could chop that foundation down. Now, maybe you thought you built one. They came with something and they went underneath that thing. They dug a little hole deeper. Now got you to the point where it's like, man, and now it's like, it's the trickle down effect. And I was telling somebody else, there's no telling how long this is going to go on as far as new stuff coming on. And it just sucks, man, because, again, knowing how black people or, you know what I'm saying, whatever, just cultures rely on music to keep us together, to get us through heartache, pain, or bring us together or celebrate things. It sucks that one of the bigger icons in music-wise, as far as what he's done overall, is responsible for this, man. So, I mean, it's a tough thing to go through, man. And it's sad, but the true thing we're dealing with. And I'm just like, man, dog, like, we don't need these hits right now.
Nah, man.
I don't, just that's what I'm thinking right now. In a time where the world is upside down already, it's tough, man. Because, I mean, just think about kids in schools and stuff going on in our city. Like, say, the violence that's going on. It's like, music is one thing. Like, okay, I'm going through something, I'm going to just put some beats on or something like that. I want to, I mean, if I'm with my people, let's vibe out to some music. But now it's like, well, can't play that no more.
Right.
I probably shouldn't play that, but is it looked upon? So that's why I think it's tough, man. It's a reality, yes. Don't get me wrong, but it's tough, man. That to just go through that or see the people and especially having Kendrick bring right together in July, 4th of July, and then go back to play. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So it's tough to be on that roller coaster right now, knowing that we need something to keep us together.
Yeah. You got any takes on any of this wild stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. You know, lately, I feel like today and the last couple of days, you've seen a lot of stuff on social media about him, specifically his relationship with Justin Bieber. Mm-hmm. And then you see the pictures of Bieber.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, when he was a
tiny. He was just a kid. And so, you know, it really makes you think, like, that power thing is tough.
Yeah.
Especially when you have someone in power like that and who has a relationship like that with a young person who, you know, I mean, even as coaches, right? Like, you know, you have all these young kids that have these massive dreams. They have all these visions of where they want to go. They have all these things that they want to accomplish.
Manipulate that, man.
And he uses that as a way to manipulate. And so, you know, you think about that, you see that picture, and like I said, especially with, you know, that image I've seen a couple times today with him and Bieber is just like a young kid. Yeah, especially, I think, you know, having kids myself, you know, as
it hits, man. You think about it, it's hard.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a tough thing. Yeah. It's a tough thing for sure. It's just wild, and it feels like every single day something new's coming out. And the crazy thing is, I think, like, one of the big storylines is, I don't think anything's come out about officially, but all these different people in power, these people that have attended.
Yeah, parties. I mean, right now it's all allegedly. I mean, some photos have been released as far as some celebrities who, you know, like I saw on Facebook, it was they showed a picture of, like, younger Jay-Z and Aaliyah, and they, you know,
that was crazy.
Yeah, man.
I saw that
was
Facebook
there, and they were, you know, they were laying on the bed, laying all together, and the picture was innocent. It wasn't nothing raunchy about the photo. You know, it looked like a normal kickback would, you know.
But now you know what this stuff's out there.
But now now you're putting the context, and I was like, oh man, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, man.
Well, yeah, you see every clip. I mean, there's so many, like, late night show clips, things that you see, interviews he did, and now that you put it in that framework of what we know to be true, it's like, man, and like you said, the what if gets way bigger. At first, it's like, oh, what if this? Now it's like, oh, it's not just what if. It's like,
when did,
what
or
if
it
probably something probably happened.
And what's tough, I mean, he's a billionaire, you know, with a B.
Sure.
And now they have to, well, which I'm sure the FBI is doing currently as we speak. They're, you know, calculating, you know, how much money has he made through this empire, the coheres, right? That's the right word. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. You know, trying to figure out who's all involved. I mean, his kids. You know, it's just tough. It's tough. I just. Yeah, I mean, for those who were involved, shit, karma's gonna hit y'all, man. And I don't know. It's our society, man. There's so much we've accomplished and so much good that's happening, but yeah, at the same time, there's a lot of crazy and there's a lot of dark secrets that are being brought to light. So, you know, overall. I'll leave it on, you know, end it with this. I think overall it's a good thing, though, because rather it be exposed and dealt with than.
Gotta stop.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you know, even though Diddy would say, don't stop, right? but
over, bro.
It's like, nah,
it's
man,
it's
done. You and R. Kelly about to be in the prison choir, man. It's
a wrap.
You guys are done. It's hilarious.
Like you said, it's weird though.
Yeah,
with like the music, because music's everywhere.
Yeah,
like, we all love music. We love different types of music. I'm a hip hop guy, and so, you know, it's like it kind of it's a weird thing. It has I mean, that can just, like, ruin a party. I mean, I remember the first time I went to a wedding. And you hear you know, Remix to Ignition come on for the first time. Like, you know.
Now it's all different, like, you know.
And that was a classic, bro. Be like, don't play it. Yeah, it make you feel odd. You
want to dance,
yeah,
but it's like, you
know. Bro. Sure. And then the high school graduations, they would always play I Believe I Can Fly and all that stuff now, and it's like, you're like, turn that off, please.
Fiesta remix, like, oh my gosh, like, but you're like, okay, I can't do it, bro. So.
Oh man, we'll see what happens next. I mean, the only other thing, got one more negative thing, then I always try to end on a positive thing. But I saw this not too long ago. I posted it on my let me get to it. I posted it on my social media. You guys might have seen it. They were talking about there was shootings going on in Sacramento.
Five,
yeah, like it was like 22 total, or 22 people shot total.
5 locations.
And 5 locations, and then I think they said 4 died. Yeah, 22 people shot, 4 died. So obviously that's not news I like to report on or anything like that, but you know, I obviously there's still parts of SAC that are tough.
No,
you know what I mean,
Chris. It ain't parts of SAC though. It's just time and place, bro. Like, I mean, not coincident. I mean, again, you brought it up. So I mean, intercom student, Meadowview 12-year-old kid, 12 years old. Like, so again, this is life lessons, right? It's to the point now where I told the boys, like, we started study hall at the school already. I'm like, man, that's a safety reason. All these schools are locking down after school. If you're an after school program, you can just stay on campus. I don't need y'all in the parking lot because something happens. You need to be in the classroom with the teacher, so I know if I can call her or I text y'all in the classroom, y'all safe. It's not even about just y'all being in here to do homework anymore. It's safety concerns.
Yeah. Let's
keep it, because again, games aren't safe anymore. It's sad. Like, you can't just go to the football games to other schools, and you can only go to your home school's games now. Like, we used to go to Wood Creek from South Sac and drive to the games out there and go hang out and try to, meet the girls, whatever else. And my homies, my cousins go out there, whatever it was. We go different places. And it's like, man, it's just, I have to make sure you make it home at night. I want to make sure you make it home at night. I want to make sure you can go see the next day. Like, and it sucks because you don't know. Literally at games, you got to kind of be like, man. Or even during the games going on, you can't talk noise to people in the stands if you're playing, because they might run the court and get at you.
Yeah.
Or their parent might run the court and get at you. And so it's just like, man, it's so hurtful as a coach, as a person, just to see, because that takes away the effect of the full athletic experience for me, right?
Yeah.
Games, you want to go to games, standing room only, basketball-wise, right?
Games,
rocking, hanging out,
yeah,
but you got to worry about, damn, what the parking lot going to look like afterwards.
And
damn, what's going to be?
That's not even counting like school shooters and potential
and even that,
all
right?
that.
Education, right? I got to worry about that. That's such a scary thing, man. Like, it's just, for any child to come up, man, it sucks they have to go through that. And don't get me wrong, I went to Kennedy 2 years ago. It was popping though. We had it used to go on, but again, no social media, so you couldn't post it. We had cell phone. Maybe a couple people did back then, so you couldn't call a parent and say something was going on. But you had fights, but if the fight was over, hey mom, we had a fight at school. That's all it was. It wasn't like that, but also, it wasn't kids popping up at your school often. Yeah, you may have 1 or 2 kids randomly try to come at your school and get somebody on your campus, but it wasn't that much access like it is now, and it just sucks, man. It's just, they don't value life, man. Yeah. And to me, that's probably the biggest thing, man. I watched some show, they said, I've never seen somebody come back from the other side. Yeah, you may have been revived. That means you weren't all the way over there, though.
Yeah.
Like, right, you didn't cross over completely. You may have been in that gray area, but you didn't cross all the way over, because once you're there, you're not coming back. And it's just like, kids don't see that till it's too late, or they make their own decision and they can't come back, or they end up hurting somebody else. And it sucks to see them kids just do it. They don't fight. They shoot, they kill, whatever else, and that's it. And I'm like, that is not anything to play with. Like I said, you can't come back from that, and you're hurting yourself and others around you. And it's a lot of innocent people always get hit. Like this weekend, a lot of the victims were innocent victims.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, it just sucks to see that going anywhere, especially in SAC. When we went through that phase a couple years ago where it was real hot, kind of died off a little bit, and then this past weekend it just shot right back to the mainstream news area. And it's tough, man, being an educator or whatever, and then having nieces, nephews, kids, whatever it is, and this type of thing where it's like every day could be like, you don't want to think that way, but I mean, you got to value the days you have with these kids and your family members, man.
You just don't know. And it's, man,
scary.
It's, especially like you said, in the sport, connecting it back to the sports thing, like you have these crowded games, and like we talked about this whole podcast, like the athletes get into it. They're passionate about it. The parents, unfortunately, do too, to a fault. And I even remember, this is back in the day, but I was in middle school, and I heard a story about a kid that I went to school with. He got into it with another 8th grader, and there was some altercation during the school day. The teachers broke it up. Well, after school, one of the kids was confronted by this other kid's dad. And so they're having a conversation. Well, you've come to find out the guy's son comes up and sucker punches the kid, and the dad basically set this kid up so that he could get a free shot on him.
While he was talking to the kid, and
this is a dad is coordinating this, planning
this.
Yeah, and that was back. That was back in the day.
No, I've seen
so much worse. Where it's like people get into it. It's like you have to be careful at those sports games. Like you hear all the time, right? Fights between.
I've seen it live and in person, man.
See, you know what I mean? It's wild that's what happens, but unfortunately, you have to be worried about that. And some people, Like, it's not just a matter. It's not going to be just a fist fight. It's not going to be some argument. It's going to become a thing that becomes deadly.
It's hurtful, man, because there's so much to life, so much to live, so much to do for a kid or anybody, right?
Yeah.
And to have that taken away from it to me, I mean, like I said, man, I think purposeful too. That's why I just tell my boys, I pour into them. I'm like, look, be safe, be smart. My JV coach always says, don't be the one.
Yeah.
Don't be the one, right? Go the opposite way. Don't run to the crowd. We go away. You see your brothers, basketball boys, we stay, we said that we do different. We move differently, be smart, but also it's about y'all life expect. We want you to live.
Yeah.
Like for when we was growing up, it was 21. Oh, we thought it was a blessing to see 21.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm blessed to see 42 right now. Y'all not seeing 21. They're not seeing 18.
Right.
I'm like, y'all, I've been 42. I've lived a good life so far, up, downs, but you guys aren't guaranteed to see that because of how they move, and it's like, it's sad. It's so much more out here for you now than it was when we was growing up.
For real.
Y'all could be so much more successful, do so much more, but they don't value that day-to-day life, man. I'm like, man, that's a scary thing, man.
It is. Like, I pulled it up. It says, six shootings in 26 hours, 8 shot, 5 killed, including a 12-year-old.
And I was the youngest,
12-year-olds.
and the oldest it couldn't have been over 30, I believe. So they're all they haven't lived nothing, man. It's just, yeah, man. Like I said, I don't know who people pray to or believe to, but daily, nightly, thanking God you wake up. One, voice work and keeping everybody safe, man. I mean, I do that regularly just to make sure. I don't even know everybody in the world, right? But hey, keep everybody safe. But I know statistics say otherwise.
Yeah.
We lose people every day, so I'm like, man, just be thankful for people.
Well, I'd rather lose people from old age than, I mean.
Yes, bro. I mean,
I know what you mean.
No, but I'm saying like
that.
that, at the least that.
Yeah.
Like at the least that. Live a full life to where you have a kids, or you learn, you grow old, and be like, okay, at least I lived life to my fulfill whatever, and it didn't get cut short. And to me, it definitely hurts when the innocent people get their life cut short because they had nothing to do with that.
Especially 12, man.
You're a baby,
12 years old.
You're a baby.
Yeah, man.
My nephew's 11. No, he's 12 now, I think. Like there's just, I like, man, he's so,
And as a parent, man, like just like, it's a place I don't even really
scary.
want to go.
Yeah, for sure.
To think about that and
scary,
having to go through that and deal with the
like I said, it just recently happened, so obviously.
Yeah, but like,
but
for you though, like, I'm in the city, like I'm in South Sac, I'm in the areas right there. I mean, I know some of these people that are attached to the boy who died or the other kid from Intercom. Like, I see their posts and I was like, oh wow, I didn't know they knew him, but it's like, damn, that's hurtful. It sucks, man. Like, especially to the good kid, any kid, regardless, but just like any kid, it's just tough, man. I know it's not just happening here; it's worldwide. But like, man, life to experience, you have to be alive to do it.
Yeah.
If you're not here, it's just like, damn.
So this is probably a bigger conversation, but I heard an AD. I won't say which school, but they were kind of talking about how you have coaches that will come into a school, but they have no idea what the culture is like.
Yeah.
And you see movies like McFarlane. You see these like the white savior movies, right?
Yeah.
And people are inspired, which is great. But there's a reality where it's like if you're coming from Granite Bay, going down to an inner city school, and you're trying to coach, you're not living in that community. You weren't from that community. It's going to be hard to connect with that community. And so in situations like this, I think having people like yourself, who's from the community, who still lives in the community, especially in tragic situations like that. It's good, man, because you can understand what's going on, and so when they need someone to come to for that, that comfort, you know what I mean, that's huge.
That gun violence, along with these drug addictions, I've experienced, man, have to help kids, certain things, loss of parents, something like that.
Yeah.
And just where it happens in our community, but it's a need for people to be there, man, and show them love, man. What you got on this thing, man?
We're doing. We're gonna do that video reaction soon. Once we feel, like I said, I want to have a positive
right, give us
after
good,
the negative.
Man. This is good, man. Like I said, I'm jealous. I'm in an office. I feel like I've said this to people before. I don't know if you guys remember the story. It was like 3 years ago, maybe. There was a homeless dude that snuck into USC football's practice facility.
No.
And he was in the jacuzzi. He was eating the team cafeteria. He got caught because he tried to field a punt. He got on the field.
He got on the field.
They said he probably could have been there for longer, but he's like, he tried to field a punt.
He was living there, though.
That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm in the wrong spot. I snuck in here somehow.
No, man, you in the right spot, man. Y'all are my welcome guests anytime. I want us to do a quick reaction to this video. I just thought it was pretty cool because this YouTuber, he's fairly new. but he was talking about EuroLeague versus NBA, and basically just talking about the crowds, how intense the EuroLeague crowds are.
Oh, yeah.
In comparison to the NBA. And he also had a little couple other good nuances on the video, like they talked about they show the coaching, because keep in mind, this is pro, this is the EuroLeague, they make money, don't get that shit twisted, they make money there. They have, like, I think at least this coming season they'll have at least 100 plus former NBA players in their league. So they're thriving. And so I just wanted y'all to kind of check this out a little bit, and then tell me y'all reaction.
Creating nightmares to opposing teams. And I mean, how would you feel if you had to get a win on the road in this atmosphere?
That's crazy.
I would love that. If I was in that atmosphere, I'd love that.
That's wild as shit. Is that real flares, bro?
Yeah.
I seen this video. I remember this.
Made it snow inside the arena and delayed the start.
Look at that.
That was the tip off of the game.
Now that I would be adoring.
Some really tough crowds in,
That's crazy.
in Europe. I think especially Greece, Serbia, Turkey. I think those are the three really tough crowds to play in. It's hard to listen to your teammate right next to you.
That's
They cheer so
crazy,
loud.
I know me. I love being the bad guy, so I'd love it. But that's crazy.
What? Oh, yeah.
NBA games ain't like that.
Nah.
That's like a soccer match.
That's
a whole
soccer. That's
country.
like soccer. Like soccer. I've been to
That's crazy,
soccer games. They like that.
It's just an amazing feeling. I mean, this is what European basketball is about. I'm sorry, you don't see this kind of thing anywhere else in the world, not in basketball.
Yeah, nah. That's wild, bro.
Man, more fire.
Like, where the fire extinguisher at?
Look at that.
That's wild, bro.
This is in my country, Macedonia.
There's no way.
It's like 4th of July.
Imagine being the opposing team. Like, what?
Look at the smoke in there.
Absolutely wild scenes himself when Nikola Jokic was asked about the pressure while playing on the road.
Was that James Johnson?
Yeah.
Just
That year.
smiled and said this.
I played
Oh, no, that was the Marquis brothers.
I
Yeah.
played Serbia, so
NBA
I
ain't
wish
nothing.
you guys
Yeah.
can feel that.
Things are
He said,
so
"I played in
crazy
Serbia."
that even the players themselves are joining the fans. This is stunning. Just imagine
See, that'd be
LeBron
me.
or KD
Yeah.
doing this.
That'd be me. I ain't gonna
The
lie.
megaphone.
Yup.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they're just in the middle of the crowd.
Yeah, man. Man, I'd be so hyped.
Actually, Kevin Durant witnessed the madness firsthand when he attended the EuroLeague Final Four tournament.
Turn the tide of this one, but time remains on the clock, and the officials are going to have to get a hold of this one.
That's wild,
In
bro.
all probability, the game was over.
Look at that, bruh. That is just wild.
Look how big.
Kevin Durant's Twitter.
And I was shocked to find out that all of this chaos was just fans welcoming Evan Fournier to the team.
That's just welcoming
That's a
him.
welcome party.
They might not win 5 games.
Took over the airport.
Imagine your nights
That
out.
is wild. Oh, bro.
Bruh, his nights
This is a
out.
staggering moment from my hometown where the fans packed the entire
There's a
arena
little flame
for
there,
the
too.
Practice, not a game,
For practice,
not a
bro.
game.
For
flames.
practice. I'd be
They
so
turned
hyped
up,
in
bro.
practice. I'd be
Bro,
too.
that is wild, bro.
I'd be too hyped
Bro,
in
that is
practice.
so, bro, that's too crazy, bro. That is.
I've never seen that before.
I watched that a little bit, but I just think I had a chance to go to South Korea, so my best friend play.
This immeasurable
So that was dope, right? He was
Yeah.
South Korea, but it's still that it was packed. They were chanting, but it wasn't as many bodies like that. But it was still, again, it's to tell you how basketball has been globalized. too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's what it's going to
South Korea, it was crazy. It was loud in there.
Yeah.
They had chants. They had the vibe was live. I was like, oh, this is dope. Like they had everything that we have. It's a little bit louder, a little more intentional. But they were so they're so into the game, man.
Yeah.
Like they're into the game. Like no lie, they're not just sitting there spectating quiet. Like you talking about standing up. Yeah, they standing up. Like I got a chance to see him win a championship there. I was like, oh yeah, it's a vibe, bro. I mean, now I can imagine what Euro is like when it's that crazy. But
Yeah.
that's just a different look. I would say outside of being scared for your life a little bit. You got to get accustomed to it. But then afterwards, like playing wise, you want to be on a winning team. I'll say that.
Oh yeah,
because that like it's going. Well, if you lose, if you're losing, they're probably gonna talk about you bad, man. So I'd be kind of scared to walk out of the arena. But
Man,
that's fire. You got fired, bro. Fire don't belong in the gym. Like that's crazy.
Those things they have at most games, like behind the free throws, like the thunder six.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
No, yeah, exactly right. When you see flares, like, bro, where am I?
That's wild.
That's crazy, bro.
I wanna.
This
is wild, man. I mean,
look how many people that is there, bro.
I watch some NBA games, but I watch more EuroLeague than NBA. But if it's a really good game and it's on TV, I'll watch it.
And one-off spectacles like this exhibition game played in Belgrade under open sky are just flat out stunning.
What? They're outside?
They're outside, yeah. That's while they're playing.
There was a game being played at a historical venue.
See, you know what's wild too? If you go to any sports game now here, you have to have like the clear bag.
Yeah.
They're bringing fireworks in.
40,000 people. Yeah, that's dope though.
Now that's cool. Oh, I like that.
What the hell?
That's cool.
But there are also examples like this one. Partisan supporters paying
Whoa.
respect to their coach,
Wow.
Željko Obradović. So when you see all of this, along with the shirtless fans screaming till their face turns red, you see the arena shaking, and of course the flares lighting up, and compare that to an NBA game.
Bro,
it
that's
looks
crazy.
shockingly different.
Yeah, definitely different.
It looks boring.
Yeah, that's
Dull.
definitely different.
Dull. Y'all not jumping? Dull.
Rihanna.
I was saying, even Rihanna,
Jay-Z,
Jay-Z,
yo.
that's not even that exciting.
Yo.
You see the celebrities in the front rows.
Everybody chilling.
Yo.
Nah, you don't go to Euro games and chill.
Nah, bruh.
You bring
Nah,
a
you
lot
going
of
to
water.
workout. You
Yes,
going to
you
a
about to
workout.
for sure.
Everybody clap your hands.
What?
The thing is, the whole culture is different. In the U.S., people go to a basketball game.
Oh, it's about to
as a way
look-
of entertainment.
Yeah.
They're treated the same way
You want to
like
sit courtside, look good,
Yeah,
get on
yeah,
TV.
yeah,
You're not going to,
yeah.
nah.
It's like watching a movie.
Yeah.
They entertainment.
Yes.
aspect.
do or die mentality.
But I really like the part when they show the coaches. Now I ended with that one.
I mean, just
I'm gonna leave the link for this
well-respected minds in EuroLeague
YouTube
basketball
video for you guys
intensely
to check out too.
games.
Sound like me.
Sheesh. They turned up.
Can't do that to NBA players though.
Hell no, you lose your job the next night, same night. Look at him. Hey,
So what the fuck is it? That's me.
no two-step. He about to break his
Look.
board.
So what'd you say?
Just in his face.
You want to play?
So all the life, you wait for me. Okay, all the life, any one of you.
You don't have this in the NBA.
Hell no.
One,
Jeez, look
because
at that
they
look.
just don't function like that. But two, and possibly more important, because there's no way you yell like this to the franchise superstar. That's
Now you
worth
paying
$200
$1 million, right?
Yeah.
Imagine a coach
Yeah,
for
Steve Kerr
rating
smiling.
LeBron like this. You
There's
would
no
be
smiles on the
fired
other side.
before the game
Oh.
is even over. Heck, David Blatt, one of the best EuroLeague coaches at the time, got fired from the Cavs after a 30-11 record to start the season. By far the #1 team in the East, and just months after
30
making
and
the
11.
finals.
That's
In a
crazy.
league where entertainment is everything, and superstars are the difference between
Shit,
the
old boy
team
with the
being
Bucks
a
last year
contender
too, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Definitely want the top dog being
People were trying to say
happy, fans
Tim
buying
Tebow,
expensive
or not Tim
tickets.
Tebow,
Europe,
Tip
coaches are
Thibodeau.
the
Tim
authority,
Thibodeau.
and
You know,
they
he's too
teach
hard of a
basketball.
coach, or he too.
Basically, they're the most important piece to the puzzle. This season, Partizan didn't
See, that's the emphasis with EuroLeague. They value their coaches
Yeah.
more than the players, where it's the reverse for us here. We value the player more than
Right.
the coach.
Facts.
Unless you're Greg Popovich or someone who has like
Built that
the
lineage or history,
yeah.
or championships behind your name, like Spo, you know,
Yeah.
like that. They'll respect you a little bit more.
Is the winningest coach in EuroLeague history with 9 titles. So whatever reputation Greg Popovich holds in the NBA, Željko doubles that.
Should I steal his
This
play?
trust is well deserved. If you've never watched the EuroLeague, this season is the perfect
That
time
dude's
to tune
turned up,
in,
though,
as
bro.
there are going to
Yeah.
be
He was turned up, bro. That's more people need to be knowledgeable of that, but also gonna say that's the difference between us and them, though, too, right?
Yeah.
But however, I think that has helped like you talk about the crossover of, better athletes in Euro game coming in. They're getting out of best of both worlds. They're being taught in a different situation, be more tougher. A lot how they grew up, right? I can tell how you play. Them dudes got to earn it from the bottom.
And that's why they're big on team sport there too.
Yeah, because they need each other, but individual, they're tough minded. Yeah. They may have to adjust to the style of a play or officiate in America. But once they figure it out, a lot of the Euro guys they end up being pretty damn good over here because they just they built differently as far as they internally, man. So it's crazy. But that was a dope video, man. But you never see that's
no, I ain't never gonna see nothing like that. But I just thought that was so cool. I mean,
that's wild.
Like I said, for someone like you who's more on the outside looking in, like I'm sure you could see the big difference even in that. Like just
a little bit.
Like just
wow.
I mean,
man.
And I wish I do wish. And it's just never what happened, but especially with the younger generations. But yeah, man, I wish you could go with some of these NBA guys like you could.
Yeah,
because some of them need that, man. Like whether they want to admit it or not, I get it. You got the bag, you made millions. There's a question we ask in the basketball world. Gilbert Arenas was one of the ones that started that question. It's like, would you rather have
the rings or the money?
Yeah, the rings or the money. Would you rather have a career like a Robert Horry, 8 rings with less money, or would you rather be a James Harden where you've made like $300 million but no ring, right?
That's always over your head.
Yeah. So it's like,
but it depends on how you built internally.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Like what's more valuable? It's that win because I know like if it was up to me, I want the wins.
Sure,
it's just winning. I was just that kind of crazy obsessive dude when it comes to competing and win. I'm still like that as a coach. I think that's what makes me a good coach. If I'm gonna be biased, like because I do want to win and I do want to compete, but I haven't forgotten that I'm still developing these kids. Sure. But when we on that court for those 40 minutes, or however long it is, I'm focused on us trying to get the job done, which is to beat our opponent and win. Yeah. And I tell parents, if you ain't on that same vibe with me, I'm probably not the guy for you. I'm probably not the guy for you.
Makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Did you guys have anything to add with that one, or?
No, I think it was just, it just tells you where we're at, though. It just different plays, different times, or if you're looking for something too, for athletes that may be looking for something different. But also, it's interesting though. Some of the pros may have been coached, not to that extent though.
Yeah.
But they were brought up in tough coaches. That's how they made it. But then once the dollar sign got behind it, and now they feel a little different. But you don't forget what got you here was that type of coach who pushed you to get you to go a little extra or talk to you a little crazy. I watching Mike Beasley was on a podcast. Mike was like, man, his coach, that's his dog. I mean, I can't state. I forgot his name though. Martin, I think Frank Martin or whatever. But he said, no, that's my dog. Yeah. He pushed me, but he also said, hey, I need you to do this, that, as long as you go to school, whatever. But nah, you ain't rebounding enough. Do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
He went out there and just did it. You know what I mean? So Mike Beasley, one of the best scorers that could ever play the game. Like really, he just didn't work out with Miami early. But he's like, nah, coach was tough on us, but he let me rock. But also, I had to hold my end of the bargain up.
Yeah.
That's it. It could be that simple.
Right.
But now that you get to that pro level, it's like, oh, you can't tell me but that's how you got here.
Yeah, they
so yeah.
No, it's I heard somebody say once, especially that's why it's so important to instill that stuff at an early age, because at some point if you're looking at grades, right, and you have some kid who thinks if he's not making the grades, but there's always a coach who's making exceptions or a teacher that's willing to let him pass, and pretty soon it creates this mentality where it's like, oh, I'm an athlete, so I can kind of do whatever I want. Which is not good, but then when you get to
with no consequences, right?
With no consequences, but then you get to another level. Well, now all of a sudden you have money that enhances the consequences and enhances the dumb decisions you can make, and then you get into you have a DUI, you have some issue that's that you get involved in an altercation in public. Well, there's this thing in the back of your head. It's like, but I'm an athlete. It's
I should be getting out of this.
I can get out of this. Sports above everything else. Well, it's like, well, at the end of the day, that's not the reality.
No.
And so then it creates this mentality. So I think having coaches that kind of hold you accountable at a young level is good, because like we kept talking about, that foundation, man. Once you get the money, and I'll never know what that kind of money looks like.
Me neither.
But I imagine it's a completely different world, and so so many more things open up to you. So if you don't have that solid foundation, if you're not just a good person, plain and simple, some of those, when you kind of come to that fork in the road and you have more opportunities that money can afford you, it's gonna potentially be tough. And
Yeah.
we've seen it before. You have these guys who make millions and then lose it all because they make one bad decision, and then it's gone. What's the Raiders receiver Ruggs?
Mm-hmm.
Just got drafted. Now he's locked up.
Yeah.
One bad decision.
Done for it, bro.
And it's like those are the kind of things you want to try to avoid.
Yeah.
Again, the influence of a coach at a young age is huge, man, because you're putting that discipline, that work ethic in all your athletes, and then hopefully helping them understand like these, again, consequences, right? Like everything you do, if you choose not to wake up early in the morning to go work out, that's going to affect you on the court. If you choose not to do your schoolwork, you may not play. If you choose not to put in the extra work that these other guys are doing it, they may get the spot instead of you. And every choice has a consequence. And then you get to the bigger life stuff. And so, that's why I keep saying, man, the role of a coach is huge, not just for the development of the athlete, but them as a person.
Yep.
It's a huge thing.
And it's just an interesting statistic that I was thinking about it while you were talking. 66% of NBA players go broke after leaving the league, and I think it's 72% of NFL players go broke after leaving the league. So, yeah, like you said, money, bad decisions, and unfortunately, a lot of them suffer consequences once they leave the league. So.
Just not being educated early too, though, right?
Yeah,
Not being informed, educated, right classes, or our schools definitely need to teach more literacy at an earlier age.
Yeah,
how to deal with dollars, money, credit, especially in our minority communities for sure.
Yeah,
and not just chasing this jewelry and these ice and these rims. And I've been a victim of that early on, trying to get rims on the car, wasting money. But
we've all been there.
Learning that, trying to be seen, but it's lessons that you be taught earlier to help us survive and be better, bro.
Yeah. And speaking of college and whatnot, this again circles back into the last few topics of with NIL money being in college, even now potentially high school, that creates a whole new thing. But the numbers, just so people understand who are listening or watching the show on YouTube or whatnot, some of the NCAA's every few years they do the numbers in terms of kids who make it, from the percentages of kids who make it from high school to the NCAA from Division III and up. This isn't counting junior college. So obviously I'm only going to bring up the main three sports, and obviously on the boys' side, that will be football, basketball, and baseball. And so, I showed it to you guys earlier, so I'm going to get you so people understand how difficult it is for these kids to make it at any level of college, for sure, and from Division I to Division III. So in men's baseball, the participants they have, and this is for the U.S., so understand this isn't even counting, Latin countries or other places like that where baseball is huge. There's, and I'm rounding up, but there's 479,000 high school participants. 8.1% of those participants make it to college. 2.4% is Division I. 2.4% is Division II. 3.2% is Division III. Okay, for basketball, you have 538,000. 3.6% out of that number make it to Division I, II, III. 1% Division I, 1% Division II, 1.5% Division III. And then for football, it's 1,029,000 that participate in high school football in our country. 7.5% make it to college. 3% Division I, 2% Division II, and 2.5% Division III. And then of those athletes, only and we're just, let's just say the Division I, of those Division I athletes, only the top 0.001% are going to get these crazy lucrative NIL deals, right? Where they're going to make a bunch of money. I know Coleman Hawkins is one that comes to mind in Illinois. I think he got like a $4 million deal or something like that.
To go to Texas.
Yeah, he got paid. So it's like, kids are going to start making money. College athletes are making money. I'm all for that. But I want to always reiterate to the numbers, especially on this show, how difficult it really is to make it at any level of college. Did you guys have, you know, yeah, you got to be a 1%er, and then a 1% of a 1%er to go beyond that.
Yeah, so I'm curious because we've talked a lot, and we talked even before we started recording about the clips on social media. So how many of these kids are getting paid for the actual like on-field, on-court stuff versus what's being seen on social media?
Like
if they saw a clip that like it went viral and they thought, okay, this kid threw down a dunk. This kid had it says like a linebacker that just laid someone out, versus like their actual entire catalog or their entire resume of actually playing. Like, are they just getting noticed by the clips on social media and then they do a deeper dive into their play, or does that make sense?
I would say, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like, yes, I would say the clips. So you're talking about like high school right now before they go to college. You're talking about actual college athletes.
Like high school, high school, yeah.
So I would say, yeah, the clip gets the attention, and then again, it really depends on your following, right? Like, let's say, for example, if you're a Mikey Williams, at one point he had, I think, 4 or 2 million or 4 million followers. It was ridiculous, some crazy amount. Before, obviously, he dealt with his court case. That's when Puma approached him, and he got his deal with Puma, and was the first high school kid, I think, to have a shoe deal with period, like an NIL shoe deal like that. So I think it's a combination of the highlights, the reels, the following, and the marketability of the player that all plays a nuance into the NIL. And for those who don't understand what that stands for, that's name, image, and likeness, and being able to get those contracts and those monies before. And really, it's just a roundabout way of what the NCAA has, let's keep it a buck, like NCAA has been doing for years for their top-tier athletes. I mean, people always make the joke Shaq made more money in college than he did at his time in Orlando. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just, that's just a roundabout way of now the money can be legitimized and legal, right? But again, you start thinking like now, if you hand a deal to a 15-year-old that's pretty lucrative, now they got to pay taxes. 15-year-old don't know how to pay
That's
no
what
taxes.
they said. It's all about just like the education behind it, or who's managing everything, or you put it into a trust, or you put it somewhere to where they can benefit them later on, or how you doing it LLC. Okay, let me get a business in my name as a parent, whatever, or my son, daughter name, she has a business, pay the business, or put the money in the business name, LLC, so like that. So that's where it comes in, having a stronger financial network and knowing what to do, so you at least benefit, so you do benefit from this opportunity, because if not, you have to pay most of it back, or you can't touch it to a certain age. You want to make sure it's structured to where, okay, now it can work for me. And that's why you see guys that may not have a draft status that's real high. I'll stay another year or two. Another year, I can make at least a $2 million. If you get $5 million probably one time, you should be well off for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
Just one time pay. If that's what $4 million once, so
that's life changing.
But then that comes with if I get the Instagram, okay, now I get paid off my reels. Now, okay, now so my account, I get all these followers. I do 1,000, minimum 1,000 views a reel, right? But I'm getting 50, 60,000 per view. Okay, now I can make I can make 250 off this reel. Every reel I can make. If I got a YouTube channel, it's different ways to monetize my own self. They're making that internet money regularly off the side of just perform my craft, but make sure somebody, like I said, all these guys have cameramen with them now. Because everything is content. They say content is king, right? I'm recording everything, posting on my channel, or if it's all basketball stuff, that's all I need. I need somebody to record my basketball stuff all day, every day, clip it up, and I can break an hour session into 50 clips. Each clip do 30,000 views. Then I'm making make a 2,000 here, 1,000 here, cha-ching, cha-ching, ching. It's rolling in, man. So, I mean, it's wild. I guess big business if you booming. Yeah. If you booming, but if you can capitalize on it. But that's the thing. Some of these kids now are chasing these YouTube views. Who don't even play though. I got what I'm saying, who don't even play. I'm like, you gotta get a day job, bro. Right. But if you're that guy, just be smart about it. Get some education. But also, like I said, I know Coleman went down there, so hopefully invest in it right, doing smooth, because NBA, not telling what draft pick he may not be, but now you've already financially, you've changed generational wealth right now. Yeah, man. $3-4 million. Like, that's it in 1 year though. That's not a 4-year span. That's 1 year. Shoot, you off.
Now, is it hard? I imagine it's got to be hard to coach like that.
That's the nuance.
It was like you go to college, or like they're trying to get you to the next level.
One and
right?
done's now, man.
Yeah.
One and done, and then with the money.
But now it's
translate.
even hard to buy into the system.
Transfer portal.
The transfer portal, which allows all these athletes to go all over the place now. It is. I do not envy some college coaches at this point. Like, you know, if you're you know, if you're at a Power 5 school or, you know, it's not the Pac-12. What's the new? It's the
whatever. I don't know what it was
it's
called.
12 teams. I know that, but I don't know because the Pac has all that done. But it's if you're Duke, you don't have these problems. Let's just put it like that. Overall, now you still might have kids that transfer for whatever reason, but in terms of being able to generate revenue and create a NIL deal for your kids, you're not going to struggle with that when you're Duke, right? But let's say you're Sac State. It's going to be very different for you. You know what I mean? It's definitely going to be harder for you, and that's what's tough. It's again, I don't envy college coaches at this juncture because, and I put some of the onus and blame on the AAU culture. One thing I've been saying a lot in a lot of recent episodes in sports in general and basketball is the culture of sports in the U.S. youth-wise, the community has been thriving. I think sports is at an all-time high all across the field. I mean, I've seen girls playing basketball and soccer and just volleyball and just baseball, just I just see sports is on an upswing as in its totality. Like I said, $40 billion industry, but the culture of sports is what's fucked up. You know what I mean? The communities are doing great. It's the culture that needs to be fixed, and now you're throwing the potential for, like JT said, generational wealth to be thrown in there. It just makes it like you're not going to get the relationships, unfortunately, that college coaches used to have.
Sure. It was a bond, bro, with your players, man.
Yeah.
Like, it was a bond, literally, like, that's your other pops or uncle. Whatever
like the Michael Jordan, Dean Smith relationships are kind of
mentor, like real mentorship type stuff, man. You don't get a chance to do that, or some coaches don't value that because they know you could be going the next year. Well, they already know somebody's already trying to get you off my team anyway, so I'm like, I'm not going to pour into you the same way because you could be gone. So.
Yeah, it's tough because even when you had the one and dones, Calipari was really good at that at Kentucky. He could still build a really good relationship with his one and done kids and things like that. Coach K with Duke, like they knew it. Like, okay, you're going to be here and you're going to the league. It's all good, but in this 1 year here, I'm going to get you to buy in. I'm going to teach you the game at an extremely high level, and I'm going to do everything in my power to prep you for your next step. But now the kids want money, and they expect to play right away. And, like, if they're unhappy,
you see it with Clemson right now getting thumped. He said he don't believe in NIL deal or something like that, and they ain't got no guys over there like that. So Clemson, it took some L's, man. So you got to kind of adjust it or how you go about doing it because the school's still making money off the kids. They got these $1 billion athletics. I'm like, look at these. They got couches, TVs.
Bro, you seen some of them facilities?
Golly. I'm like, ridiculous. I mean, as a player, you like, okay, I'm happy, but then I seen some schools. All these kids got Jeep Wranglers now.
Yeah.
All y'all get trucks. I'm like, it's just
And I don't know. Here. I don't know what it will evolve into. I mean, obviously, again, the only concern I always voiced on the show, and you guys can speak on this if you have an opinion as well. But I always worry about security for these kids because, like, I always use USC as an example. USC is a great campus. If you guys have been to USC,
yeah.
Like, it's a great campus, beautiful place.
But, hood, though.
But it's in the hood. Yeah. Like, let's keep it a buck. You go 3-4 blocks
either
off
way
that campus anyway.
But to get in, that's why they got it blocked in that much. You got to drive in that.
You realize, like, oh shit, like I'm not. This ain't sweet. You know what I mean? Like,
it's in the hood.
So now, I'm a cat living in that hood. I'm desperate. Yeah. I'm
come up. You already know.
I know. Oh, you just signed for $3 million.
Yep.
Where you stay at on campus? I'm gonna walk up there with a backpack on. Who gonna know the difference? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think of.
Yeah.
I know I probably,
crazy,
I'm sure they do to a degree, but I'm just saying that's the only concern, one of the bigger concerns.
Well, it's so the amounts are so publicized now.
Yeah.
So the access is there. If it was different, if it was under wraps, you just say, okay, sign a deal. Don't know how much, different story.
Yeah.
But they always put the numbers out there.
And they posting it, and it's all like, you know what I mean?
They stun. They got they stunned Shador going crazy. I'm like,
It's
bro,
like, it's like some schools are located in
areas where you don't want everybody to know how much money you make.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
But yeah, that's my overall thoughts with that. Before we I think let me make sure. I think that was could be my last thing, or I think I had one more question. No, that was it for me. I mean, did you guys have anything you want to think about, talk about? I mean, I know we've been here a minute. I appreciate y'all hanging in there,
That's
but
been fun.
nah.
It's nice not having to host the whole thing. Conversation.
I mean, I'll just say that too, man. Even if that's no more questions, just the fact that, bro, it's like, I mean, it's dope to have just conversations with good people, or for ourselves, just to get stuff off our
For sure.
chest, or just have conversations about different things we see have been going through as we do a lot of the interviewing process, but also just have those conversations, man, in this space. Yeah, because I didn't realize it was 3 hours. I'm like, oh, shit, we've been rocking, but it's been going. But shout out to you again, though, man. Like, it's comfortable. Coming here, you know what I'm saying? You get comfortable, nice vibe in here, nice aesthetics. Like I said, the visuals are dope in here, man. Everything is cool. Get a nice place to be in, sit in and have a conversation that just goes naturally, but also hopefully, like I said, tap in, man. Like I said, I appreciate everybody for linking up for this, man. I think it's going to be dope. When it hits the airways, no matter what platform it's on, man, people just tune in, man, because I know people's we're purposeful in what we're doing, all right? It's purposeful, it's meaningful, trying to make an impact, but also it's been worked at. It ain't nothing that just happened overnight. People say, right, it ain't been microwaved. It's been a lot of, dang, I didn't get that right.
Right.
Scratch it, do it again. Or really, I think I filmed one, I didn't even get it. I was sick, but I had to end up getting the same person interview like a year later, but it was when I started doing visuals. First I did audio. By the end of doing visual, I was like, oh yeah, the visual gonna hit way harder than the audio anyway. Yeah. So I mean, you know, it's a lot of work that goes into it, man. So I would just say, somebody's interested, man, just stay with it, stay consistent, game plan your strategies a little bit, give you some goals to hit, but also realize it ain't got to be perfect either, though.
Yeah,
it don't got to be perfect, doubt. Man. In which, especially in this space, what you're doing, but people want to see content or hear your content, get it out there, and just try to improve, but at your pace.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I definitely was gonna say that, man. Before we get out of here, man, it was definitely a dope experience. I enjoyed the conversation, bro, but I enjoy the reality of it, the realness of it, and yeah, man, it's something that I think we need for the city, and I know we'll talk offline too, bro, just to hopefully get this clinic or something together. We can bring people in the gym together, bro, and work for a common goal.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity, man, to hop on here with you guys and talk to a couple of basketball pros about everything that you guys do.
I'm always learning, man.
Life experiences.
Yeah, man. But it's been cool. I appreciate it, and obviously you guys are doing a lot of dope stuff in the community. That's why I've had you on the podcast. Yeah. That's why I reached out to you because I've been following you guys for a minute, and I always tell people, if I reach out, it's because I believe what you guys are doing. Yeah, you know, and I've had some people reach out, and I just, you know, I don't have them on the show because just to be blunt, I don't believe in what they're doing.
Right.
And so you guys, though, believe in what you're doing, and I can see the impact it's having. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity. And this is a random thought, but I thought about this when I came in here, and since I'm on a basketball podcast, I want to say this. I've been to a bunch of, here in California, in Sacramento specifically, a bunch of playoff sports, baseball, football, basketball. Mm-hmm. I always like to tell people, I feel like the basketball championships, state championships, is by far the best championship high school experience.
Yeah.
It's the
live.
I try to go every year. If you haven't had a chance to go, you gotta go support that. It's the most fun environment. It's the skill out there. Like it's a fun thing. It's a fun thing. I try to go every year if I can.
Yes, sir.
That's what I love about and that's why I always bring up, you know, just kind of my closing thing in terms of when it comes to school athletics, like the culture of school athletics is really good, and there's nuances. Even if you're an AAU kid, and you could be with a program, like I said, like a YBA for a long time, but there's something about high school culture that's still just, you know what I mean? Like if you come from a Sac High, a Shelton, a Kennedy, there's just a nuance to history, a history that you like to be a part of. You know what I mean? And I think that is always still going to be relevant, no matter what sports evolves into. I mean, I don't know who knows what the next step will be, but you know, I just got to try to talk about it and ride the wave. But no, I always, for my listeners and for anybody who checks this episode out, let me reiterate again, you know, sports in general is a very universal language. It's a very good tool for life lessons. So if you're a parent or a kid who is listening to this, or you know, considering sports in general, you listen to 3 people who are gonna definitely tell you yes, do it and try it. I encourage it,
yes, sir.
and you know, make the best of it, right? Because despite your level, I think everybody deserves good coaching. I think everybody deserves the opportunity to try and fail and succeed, no matter what it is, right? So that's just that's just my overall outlook. I want to let me do a few quick shout outs while I'm thinking about it. I wanted to do one for Marcellus Howard. You guys know,
bro, had a crazy weekend, bro.
He was in China.
Crazy Kyrie affiliate. Okay,
out there he was with Kyrie and hooping. So Marcellus, man, congratulations to you and all your success, man, because he is definitely a young man who is all about the Sacramento community and uplifting us.
I'm gonna say this though, I hit him. You mind come to the gym? My wife talk to my players or do the workout? Yeah, Jay, I'll be there. What day? Walked in the gym, the fools was like, Coach, you know, I say, I told you never know how I know.
Famous.
But he walked in the gym, him and his boy's shoes on, working. But then he coaching, leading drills. I was like, yeah, man, that's a solid dude. I mean, I've known it anyway since I coached against him, all that stuff. But yeah, but he's getting what he's worked for, what he deserved, man. But he treats others that same way. So, number of blessings for the young man, man. Keep it up, bro. Representing the city well, bro.
Yeah, and then what happened recently? So one of the parents on my 8th grade team is a professional fighter, Blake the Beast. I don't know if you guys see him.
I said Blake.
He just had a fight up the street here at Thunder Valley, and he won. Got his 15th win.
Shout out to Blake, big dog.
So shout out to Blake, another Sacramento guy doing his thing.
Go.
So big weekend for him. Because I didn't know this, because I'm a boxing fan. That's my other like major sport I really like. Yep. Once you get your 15th win, you now are kind of like eligible for bigger purses. You know what I mean? Really? Bigger. So that's a huge milestone for him to get that. You know what I mean? Especially the injury and what he came back through. I know his story, and you know, but if people look him up, he's very transparent about his story. But for him to come back, what he's gone through, and now he's gotten his 15. He just won 2 fights. He got his 15 win. I think he said he has 2 more scheduled coming up, and then obviously he's going to take a break. I was like, dude, that's watching the preparation he does for all that, man, because I coach his son. So, and shout out to Tyson, love that kid, but he works religiously in that gym, man. People boxers work, man, but watching him really bounce back from his major injuries and things like that is pretty crazy to watch. And then my last shout out was there's another podcaster in Sacramento. He's doing his thing, the Legacy Lounge. I don't know if you guys seen them, but you guys keep doing your thing, man. Big support to. And shout out for you guys, one podcaster to another.
They rocking too. Nice setup too. I like that. Good people, man.
Really
good people,
studio.
Man.
So
they rocking too. They got a nice setup. Do a good job.
100%. So people, you know what I mean. And yeah, if anybody who is listening to it, because I don't know if you guys have people ask you, you know, I have people. Now I've been doing this a couple years, you know, they'll say, man, how do you start a podcast, or what do you do, or whatever, you know. JT said it best, man, and I'm just going to reiterate it again. You just do one brick at a time. Don't worry about if it's perfect. The biggest tip I can give is worry more about the audio than the visual first. You know, you want it to sound good first, and then the visual will come along. You know what I mean? It's just because just give you guys just the quite honest truth. It's easier on the social media, Instagram, TikTok, and audio space to get more recognition than it is on YouTube. YouTube's hard.
You got to grind on YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube,
bro.
there's a lot of podcasts. There's a
grind.
lot of competition out there. Like, so it is tough on the YouTube algorithm. But
grind.
so that through social media and the audio side, you can do well on that. So, you know, make sure your sound quality's good. You know, I don't know if you wanted to give a tip or anything like that.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because the one tip that I usually give is probably one that I'm not living by right now, but I still believe in it. I'm slipping a little bit. Is consistency.
Yeah. Oh, we all, bro. Trust me.
Yeah.
I go months without, and I'm looking like, damn, I gotta release an episode or something.
I missed last week. I'm like, but consistency is the main one. I always tell people that start out. I've talked to a few people that started. I'm like, it doesn't matter what your frequency is. I think you just gotta be consistent, and you have to let people know, because there's so many podcasts. I'm sure you guys have experienced this before. You have a dope podcast, a new podcast. They do like 5 episodes, and then you never hear them
again. Yeah,
and they don't say anything. They just stop
I didn't realize people say like you don't make it. Some people make us your third. I was like, what?
Yeah,
I did 3 in a day and a half in one point. But I guess depending on what your passion is, right? But then now when you get past 10, can you keep going? I'm like, oh. So yeah, that is definitely true. Even in business, they said that too. Like in business, some people make it past year 3 or something like that. So I was like, oh yeah, this is celebrate your wins in it too, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like that, the list you gave us,
yeah.
the NCAA stats. It's similar for podcasts, and they say it's like most people
1%.
don't. 20 episodes, and that's rare air.
Yeah.
And it's like beyond that, like, is your podcast actually good? Like, you know, but yeah, it's the fact that you guys have been doing it for so long is cool, because it's hard to be consistent.
Yeah.
For all the reasons, the video, the audio, you know, scheduling guests, interviewing, coming up with questions, all those things. But like I said, man, I love it. I know you guys love it. That's why, as difficult and as challenging as it can be, we keep going.
Yeah.
100%.
Yes, sir.
No, and then shout out to Joe, my producer, man.
Yes, sir.
You always in there. He's working. He's still there, bro. He's been rocking with me. We've been like this is a passion project, man. I love being able to sit down with people and hear their stories, man. So, Joe, bro, always appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir, man. Good to have good people behind the scenes working, man. That's what the engine that pushed this thing, man.
Absolutely.
So that's what's up, my brother. Keep going.
Let me get mine. Well, again, if you have been listening to the episode or listening to it piece by piece, because I do that as well. I can't sit down and listen to one all the way. But if you made it to the end, you're a real one. Again, just to reiterate, I will have links to these brothers' shows and their social media, so you can click and check them out. I definitely encourage, listen, follow them, see their journeys. Hit that subscribe if you are so inclined. If
hit
not,
the button.
Yeah. If you're not, it's all good. I appreciate it either way. Again, this is just free game to give to everybody, so you all can hopefully find some success. The biggest thing, be safe. Take care of your families. Athletes, take care of your bodies. Listen to your bodies. Stay on your grind. You know, I'm gonna keep trying to bring in good guests and keep you guys up to date on what's happening in the sports and basketball world and whatnot. So, you know, just keep listening. I'll hopefully keep pumping out at least hopefully 1 episode a week, or that's my goal. I don't know if I'll hit it, but that's my goal. But no, again, thank you guys. Really, real talk. I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for being on time. I mean, that helps. Just little things like that help. But everybody be safe out there. Take care of yourself, man. And we are out.
Peace.